what, man? It's been a long journey.
Sure has, buddy.
We're about 200 episodes deep, my man.
Well, we're not about 200 episodes. The thing is, we are 200 episodes deep.
You know, now that you mention it, we are 200, and it seems like just yesterday we were two kids in Santa Monica in your basement with a Zoom mic and
Zoom, I remember that.
And hearts full of joy, and we're just trying to make each other laugh, really.
Two guys just hanging out with their tank tops on, young, dumb, and full of cum. Remember that?
Like it was yesterday. It's crazy to look back where we came from, you know?
Yeah. I remember reaching down and saying to myself, Brennan, my dick always seems a little bit hard sometimes. You know what I mean? In other words, I got all these hormones pumping through my body, and I don't know what to do with all this energy. And you said, Bryan, put it into the podcast.
I sure did.
And you
Something
looked down
like
and
that.
you grabbed a fistful of dick yourself. You said, look at this guy.
Ah, man.
I'm being...
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
What I remember is it went something like this. You approached me and said, hey, man, I'm not doing well. I don't know who to turn to. Is there any way you could kind of take me under your wing and show me the ropes of entertainment?
I don't remember.
And I said, sure, Bryan.
No, I don't remember that. I remember.
Sure. It was kind of like a Make-A-Wish thing, I think.
No, I remember you coming to me, and I was sitting there in my expensive house, and surrounded by friends. And I remember you were in the rain, and you came in wet, looking like a broken bird. You had snot in your nose, and
wow,
your pants were stained. I think you'd peed yourself a little bit. And you walked in, your knees were knocking, your hands were out in front of you like you were asking for something. I remember you fell to your knees. You said, I got nothing to offer, but you're my hero.
Oh, wow.
And I want you to help me.
Dang.
And I don't have much to offer, but I'll punch somebody in the face for you, or you can use my mouth as your own recreation center. And I didn't know what that meant.
Man, I don't remember it like that.
I do.
See, oh, you know, it's coming back to me now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I remember I was at a restaurant with, man, I got a great group of friends.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting around, and I went to the bathroom, and you kind of barged in on me. And you went, hey, man, I know you don't know me, but I've made a lot of mistakes in my life.
Yeah.
Is there any way you'd have the heart to do a podcast with me? And I don't know, man, maybe do everything for me. And I thought to myself,
I don't remember that.
God damn. Evan, can we play that track back? And I remember thinking to myself, God damn, look at this 47-year-old just broke. He's broken.
No. I remember you said.
And I remember thinking to myself, with my help, he might be all right. And then you got on your knees. I went, what are you doing? You went, I'm going to suck your dick, bro.
No, I don't
and
remember
I went,
that. No, I don't remember that.
I don't need that.
Nope.
I'm not gay. And you went, it's not about that.
No.
This is how I show my gratitude.
No. I remember when
I want you to
hold on.
you to drizzle your gravy in my mouth.
Now, hold on.
And I went,
hold on. No, I don't remember
again,
that at all.
you don't need to do that. I'm already sold.
No, I remember.
And then you turn around and gave me your backside and said, you know what?
No.
I think we got something here.
No.
I said, we haven't even done the show yet.
No,
You went, please.
No.
Please.
I
Please,
remember,
sir.
No, I remember.
Oh, please,
no,
sir.
I remember.
Please, sir.
I remember, in fact, the opposite.
Please, sir.
I remember the opposite. I remember you turned around. I can't help you, and I went to the bathroom to drain my big old dong, and I remember I grabbed a hold of that bad boy, pulled him out of his holster, and I was edging him on and trying to hold him up, and I started to piss. And I pissed hard, and I pissed true, and I remember you. When I went to tuck it, you were standing there with your pants off, and you were bent over the sink. I remember looking at your butt, and I said, now, I don't know what those blisters are for or where they come from, and I don't know whether you've been rubbing your butt along the pavement, because it doesn't look like you're using toilet paper, but your ass looks like a baboon's. And I said, that looks like a terrible case of what I would call herpes, and you said, no, I just sat on a beehive, and I thought, that's a lie. You're blaming bees for all those blisters.
I don't remember this at all, B.
I remember that.
I don't
very
remember
well.
that. You know, it hit me now.
What?
I remember I was down on my luck, man, and I needed cash.
There you go.
I remember I went to the Craigslist to the back page, and it said, "Hot wife, Santa Monica, come now."
Hold on, wait a minute.
And I remember I answered the ad, and
Yeah.
I walked in, and sure enough, I didn't know you from anything, really, TV or stand-up.
Yeah.
But I remember your wife, just the grateful type. But you wanted to
No,
watch.
Hold on.
You wanted to watch, and I found that weird.
I do remember that now.
And then
do
I
remember.
remember.
That. I remember when I broke.
I
up the
remember I
video.
gave your wife, as we call the kids call it, a real fuck down.
No, I remember that.
And then I
No.
remember you.
Hold on.
I remember you drying me off with that towel, because I mean, it was sweaty. There's a lot of us in there.
Right.
It was a real gangbang.
No, hold
And then
on.
I remember you going, "Hey, man, you seem like the type of guy I'd like to link up with."
Now hold on.
And I
Hold on. I
remember being on the fence, and then
Well,
you paid me a handsome
I remember that
load
I remember
of
that
money.
because we took a look at your shoulders, and my wife and I decided we wanted your seed to germinate within her, so we'd have an athletic child, and I do now, and my child looks just like you, and I want you to know that I resent that child a little bit, but I am going to be nice to him. But I also remember her saying, "Look at the size of his shoulders and his chest, but well, I can't feel anything." And I said, "Well, what's the problem?" And then we looked down, and she said, "Well, that thing looks like a milk dud with hair on it." And I said, "Well, you can't have everything in life. He's got a full head of hair and a strong jaw and a big body, but he's got a nub. That's what you call a shop nub." And
God, I don't remember that
yeah,
either.
I do too.
God, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Anyway,
my
guys,
man?
this is the 200.
Boy, this is
episode.
200.
Sorry, guys, that was just.
Boy,
we
we
were
were just
going to sing a
reminiscing
song.
a little
We were
bit.
going to sing a song,
I
but
don't
we
think
just,
we need to.
No, I don't think so either.
We were just reminiscing on old times.
I didn't appreciate you going bad on my wife.
I didn't go bad.
But it kind of turned me
That's
on
how
a
I
little bit.
remember it, though.
I didn't
Ask
know
her.
There were a bunch of guys there too. I mean,
It was a real cockfest.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I remember I knocked on the door and said,
I must
"I'm
have been
here for the
real
slut
high.
fest."
I was super high for the slut fest.
I remember I came fresh from a workout, real warmed up, and I said, "Hey, I'm here for the blonde gangbang." And you said,
And I said,
thought
"Let me-
you'd never
let me-"
come.
I said, and I was dressed up like my wife. See, that's the thing that we didn't tell you about. I was actually dressed up. In
I do
blonde
remember
wig.
that.
Yeah,
I did,
Anyway,
but I already played a song for you. I sang a song for you earlier.
thanks, buddy.
Did you,
Oh yeah.
Did you give
Let me-
that? Do you
yeah,
have
let me
that, Ev?
play that. I got that. For
Bryan
you.
does.
Yeah, this is the song that Brennan sang, and
It was just a special day. It's 200.
It's our 200th episode, Bryan, my man.
listen how bad this song is.
I don't get punched in the face anymore, yeah.
Terrible song.
It's the 200th episode of Fighting the Kid. I can't thank you enough for all that you did. Please don't die, cause you're old as fuck. Please don't die, cause you're old as fuck.
Isn't that terrible?
I'd be real sad for about an hour or two, and then the show would go on without you. It's the 200th episode, you old fuck. 200th
He's running out of
episode, I hope you're
lyrics.
ready.
Good lyric. Good lyric.
Fuck you, Bryan. You're old as fuck.
Kind of repeating. Well, that was it.
That was a song for you, man.
Very good, buddy.
Thanks, bro.
That was really, really good.
I get pretty crunk for the 200th episode. You know, it's a. Let's be real though. Who would have thought?
I know.
200 deep, man.
Here we are, 200 deep, my brother.
200 deep,
200 deep.
dude.
And-
Do you remember when? I think we signed a super short contract with Fox, and then you remember when we were renegotiating? We're in the meeting with those suits. The suits. Most of them not here
Suits.
anymore for many
Suits,
reasons.
yeah.
The suits. And what I stood up and I said, "I fucking dare you guys. Bet against Bryan and I. Let's see how that goes.
I remember
I
that.
dare you."
I remember that.
Everyone's like, for sure, relax." I'm like, "I'm just saying, man.
You do that all the time. Like that's the one thing you always say that. You're like, I dare you. I love the way you take this business personally. Thank God, because we need it. We need it because that's the first thing he'll say when he negotiates for money. You'll be like, look, this is the price. Now, you can say no and bet against us, and I dare you to.
That's how I feel, man.
Seems to work.
We were right with the Fox boys.
200th episode, and we're still having as much fun. That's the biggest thing. And
Sure are.
I think it's still as energized. And I was in Calgary this weekend, and I got nothing but love for the podcast. People come up and say they love the show. Like I'm liking what I'm doing stand-up wise. But I'll tell you something right now. They're all coming up first and saying, I listen to you guys every single week.
Well,
It's
I'll tell you
important.
what's crazy. I made that post thanking everyone for 200th episode and blah, blah, blah on Instagram. I mean, it might be my most liked post and most comments ever. And it's all positive.
Yeah.
And anyone gets on their negative, they get roasted by the
my
army.
wife read that. I read that to my wife. She got emotional, and she said, I love how sentimental he is, and it's important to be that way, and you need to be that way more. And
You took a hand to her face
I pushed her against the wall. I shoved her.
and said, "No, you're old."
I shoved her, and
Like
I
an
said,
Asian household.
I said, hey, in my house, you don't talk and you cook.
You only talk when you're spoken to.
Yeah. I said, this is not a democracy. This is a manocracy.
I can appreciate
All right?
that.
And then she drove her knee into my genitals.
Whooped your ass.
Yeah, she
I can
pancaked
also
my
appreciate that.
balls, and I fell to the ground. And then she stepped on my hands with high heels, and I thanked her because that's the kind of
It's a
relationship
weird
we have.
fantasy, man. No, but for reals, in that message, I was just thanking everyone because think about it. There's a lot that goes on that people don't see.
Gratitude's very important.
Yeah, you don't really have that. But what I was getting at is Evan, Evan does work, editing all the videos,
Yes.
doing all that. Special K. I don't know what title to give Special K. Because she does the marketing.
Yeah.
She does all the behind the scenes. She does the women's clothes.
Yep.
Then you got Martin. We got our boy Martin who does all the graphics.
Yep.
Then I have a
He's
bunch
great.
of...
He's amazing.
He's the best, right? Then I have a
Amazing.
shout out to Martin. Then I have a bunch of other artists I work with for T-shirts and
Animation.
then Jay Schaub, Shark Eyes Doll Smile.
The
We have
best.
animation. Paul doing the animation, which drops in November.
Paul,
our first animated
you are
series.
a talented son of a bitch, and I can't wait till people see what you can do.
Yeah, those are
He's
coming
so
in
good.
November. We have the guys who run the YouTube channel. We got our people who do the advertisement. Nina's been with us since
She's
day
been
one.
amazing.
Took a chance on us. We
And
didn't even
Amy-
meet. We didn't even
Amy
meet the
and,
requirements.
yep.
Took a chance on us. Then you got Amy. I'll get through it. We got Amy at 16 Talent, 16 Mile Talent.
Yep.
We got Rob, our publicist.
Rob Greenwald,
We got our boy Justin, who books all the live shows.
Justin Edbrook.
Justin Edbrook, my agent Adam. Got Todd Feldman. We just got my manager Jason and Angie.
Yeah.
It's a whole squad here, man.
And then our good
It
guests.
takes a village. What
It
did you
actually
say?
does. There's a whole. It's funny how there's this habit. I had an acting teacher who used to always say he wrote a book and he had this chapter that says I want to do it by myself. I want to do it myself. And there's this tendency that all of us have. We want full credit. We want to do it all. And I have noticed that really successful people are very good at finding help where it's needed and delineating authority and delineating task so that they can focus on what they're good at and everybody else focuses on what they, if somebody else can do it better or, and sort of finding the resources to do that is the best way to do it. It takes a lot of people. I just realized as
Depends
you're
what it
rattling off
is.
all these people, I'm thinking to myself, that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of
I
people.
deal with them every day.
Yeah. You run the business, buddy.
Yeah, we got a good squad. Who would have thought, man? The other thing is shout out to Fox. We're
They've been
pretty,
great.
we're pretty rated R, as the kids would say.
I know. They've been a support.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do better, but what can
Well.
you do? Just to let us go off like they do, I'll take that. We
Me
don't need
too.
much, do we, from them?
No. What's really cool about the whole business of internet is that it makes it easier and easier to have your own autonomy. You tell me about this app called Heal, where a doctor just shows up at your house. That's where we're headed. You get jeans for, $65 as opposed to, there's so many things to do now. It makes it just streamlined and easier. And listen. The fact that making your living as an actor in this town, you'll notice something. Dove Davidoff and I talk about this all the time. And you're going to notice this more and more. You probably already have. In Hollywood, you will never find an actor, an agent, a producer, a director say bad things publicly about anybody. Almost never. Why?
Well, that's smart.
Why? Well, because it's such a collaborative process, because your livelihood depends on so many other people. And there's something about podcasting where all you need is mics, really, and a good producer like Evan and mix, and then but for the most part, you have your own autonomy. You don't have, like you said, you're not beholden to the UFC. Nobody pays your bills. So in a way, you can be honest and unchecked, and that's a privilege, man.
Well, especially at the time that I did it. Remember, it was during the Reebok. It was just the perfect storm.
Yeah.
It was the Reebok deal. I wasn't seeing eye to eye with a lot of the UFC brass, and I was just like, "Fuck, forget this, man."
It's just like Peter Thiel. You know Peter Thiel, the famous Silicon Valley magnate. You know, he's created a brilliant guy.
What company?
He's been trying.
Co-founder of PayPal.
Yeah, a beast. Like brilliant.
PayPal. That says
early
enough.
investor in Facebook.
Jeez.
The first angel loan to Facebook.
Yeah,
Killing
like a
it.
beast.
Yeah. What about
And
him?
Peter Thiel has been very active politically as well. In fact, Peter Thiel is a famous story about Peter Thiel, who's playing Gary Kasparov, I think, the great chess master, the greatest of all time or something. And he was losing to Gary Kasparov. And he was getting really pissed off. Like, he was like, fuck. And Gary, I don't know if this is true. This is a story. And Gary Kasparov said, you're a sore loser. I mean, and by the way, I'm the best I've ever been. And he said, yeah, you find me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. Like, Peter Thiel's a badass.
I took that. Yeah. That.
I mean, it's a little
Vince Lombardi said.
it's
way
a
before.
little much.
Yeah.
But the point is,
That's an
that
old
what
quote,
I'm
though.
saying is that even Peter Thiel, as powerful as he is, there's an article in I think the New York Times today about how he's paying a real price, business-wise, for his support of Trump. So even Peter Thiel can't speak his mind. Even Peter Thiel is affected economically by what he does and what he says.
He's so set that I don't think
Sure,
he gives a
but
flying
sure,
fuck.
but-
That's why people come out about
It's just
Trump.
that we're in an interesting position where we have a lot of our own autonomy and we can say what we want, which is pretty cool.
For sure. You always have been able to, though. As like a
Yeah, as a
comedian,
comic?
like
Fuck
you're
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
For me, it was, it's yeah, I mean,
Yeah, tough. You had to be careful.
a little bit. I mean, we've had, remember, I'm trying to think, we stopped editing shows a long time ago, but especially when I was fighting, it was tough, man. There's certain things that I think either Fox edited, I didn't want to get it edited, but it's just a different age now, isn't it? It's not. It's like,
Yeah.
if I wanted to keep fighting, though, I for sure couldn't do this. There's just no way.
Yeah, you couldn't be too political. Well, you get censored somehow.
I don't think so. They would try to. I don't know what they would do.
I've had.
I remember I talked shit. I went off that one time when I was still in the UFC about the UFC video game.
Uh-huh.
I just went off, and they sent me a nasty letter.
I remember that. I've had famous fighters say to me that if they ask for more money and they were adamant about it, what'll happen is they'll be like, "Oh yeah," and they'll talk to you, and then what they'll do is they'll go, "You over there, you have a seat."
Yeah, they
have
put
a
you on
seat."
the bench.
Yeah, you have a seat.
Yeah. Everyone
For a
knows.
while.
Yeah, that's what they do. They discipline you.
Sure. You can't really prove it, but somehow you're not getting fights. What's going on?
Depends who they are.
Yeah.
Depends who they are. I mean, that's like anything.
Yeah.
Same with actors. You know what I'm saying? That's the business.
100%.
Yeah. That's the business we're in.
In Hollywood for a long time, I would make the argument that if you had come out as a Republican, and I'll tell you a story about that, you would have a tough time finding work.
I'll tell you what's interesting to me is, doing the stuff I'm doing TV and being on set and stuff like that. Man, your reputation, if you're known as like a guy who hits on women nonstop, if you're a guy who's on focus, if you're a guy who shows up late, unprepared, boy, I tell you what, everyone knows the ins and outs of it. It's really going to cost you a lot of jobs.
Oh, yes. It will cost you a lot of jobs.
Boy, and I'm telling
And
you,
your reputation will follow you
A lot
forever.
of women run Hollywood, man.
That's right.
And the nerds, for lack of a better term, they're great people. They call them nerds.
Yeah.
Run Hollywood.
Yeah.
Or you want to be a bully, or you want to be the guy who gawks at every woman. Let me know how your job goes.
100%.
That's what I'm learning.
I know people who have paid a very big price for that. I know people. I mean, it's you see it all the
Crazy,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Where in sports, as long as you play good, it's very black and white. You know what I'm saying?
It's a political game, man. I think most things are political. I think most things are, they always say if you come at men with warrior energy, if you're like, I'm a boss, fuck you, you're doing it my way, you can do that for a while. What happens is
Yeah, you said that. They store it, yeah.
They store
Come
it.
back.
They'll get you back.
Elephants.
But they always say that when you're a notoriously difficult actor, you can see it over and over and over again, by the way. There's so many case studies. If you're a dick as an actor and you bully directors and stuff, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
as soon as one bombs.
Soon as one bomb.
See ya.
You take a seat for about 5 years, and they'll make you wait. And sometimes you'll never get back.
Yeah, sometimes you never get the roles or whatever.
Yeah, you take a seat.
I think the moral of the story is just don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. That's what I
anything.
always say. Be respectful.
Yeah, what can you do, man? Well, 200, this is our last one.
That's it,
This is
guys.
the announcement. I quit.
Oh, why? What are you gonna do?
How funny would that be?
I have bills.
I quit. I quit.
I got
I'll
20
tell you what
bills.
was interesting, man. I picked up those, what the fuck is it called? Sidecar donuts in in Santa Monica off Wilshire.
Are they charging $13 a donut?
About $47 for a dozen donuts and 2 coffees.
Unbelievable.
Ridiculous, right?
That was in Santa Monica.
Yeah. Santa Monica's
Yeah,
very
that makes
expensive.
sense.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens.
That's where a coffee
nowadays.
costs $6 with tip $7
Yeah.
because it's from Ethiopia.
Hey, you know
and
what
it's
I want to know?
single
And then I'll
batch.
get back to my story. When you know how when they scan your card and it's like tip, who does that go to the shop or does that go directly to them?
I hope it goes to them.
I don't think so. I think they divide it up and then the shop will
pull
give them
it.
some. So if I have cash, I always tip them because I know they're gonna get the cash.
Yeah.
If it's electronic, I'm always like, God, I don't know. You're charging me $8 for a goddamn cappuccino. Now I give you $2 tip. We're talking about $10 drink, son.
Yes, we are.
Now if you see $2 that, I appreciate the work.
Sure.
And I'm gonna give you $2.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you see that though,
Mm.
so I'm not gonna tip you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put cash in there.
You put some cash.
But so I'm at Sidecar, got my donuts, went balls deep because my cheat day, ate way too much. I feel sick now even. And
how many put down? How many donuts?
4 and then 12 donut holes and 2
You ate-
coffees.
What?
Yeah.
4 donuts and 12 donut holes.
Yeah.
That's out of
life-
control.
Life is good, man. Anyways, so I'm in the back and I carry baby T in like one of those kangaroo pouches
With
where
a
he's-
tummy full of dough.
where he's facing me. You know, his little arms and feet stick out, but it's like a kangaroo pouch. And we're loading him up, going in the car, and this old lady walking on the street, Wilshire, just walks up, and she goes, "Oh my God, normal? Looks like anyone's grandma." Then didn't look anything wrong with her. Looks completely normal. Walks up, goes, "Oh my God, he is so beautiful." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh, thanks." And I was a little spidey sense was like, because she came right up and grabbed my son's foot, like started grabbing his foot, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. She's old as balls. That's what they do. Old people, harmless. So she's grabbing and she's asking questions. I'm like, God, she's not really all there, is she? And she's talking.
Scares me. I'm already scared.
And she's talking, and then she grabs his head. She's like, "Oh my God, look at his hair." I'm like, "Yeah, pretty crazy." And I'm like trying to talk to her. And then I go, "Oh, do you have grandchildren?" She goes, "No, I don't." And like her complete demeanor changes. She's like, "I don't." And like kind of got bitchy. I'm not wearing my watch. I don't have long sleeves on. I'm not wearing my watch. And see all my tattoos. She goes, "Oh, what is that though?" I went, "Oh, too long of a story to get into now. I get kind of get going." And then she goes, "Oh, let me grab him." I went, "I think he's good," because I can tell something like she's a little off. And then she goes, "Oh my God, I think he needs to come with me." And I went, yeah, that's hilarious. Have a good day. And I go to take him out, and she lunges for my kid
Jesus
and goes,
Christ.
"He's coming with me." Now, I don't want to sound like a dick here. My 8-month-old son,
It's your son.
it's my son.
It's your
My son is some old crazy bat.
You don't have to listen.
Everyone who has children like, yeah, I would have knocked this bitch out. So I go to put him in. She lunges for him, and I put my shoulder. I'm like, I literally turn at her, and obviously I'm not going to hit an old woman. I went, "Are you out your goddamn mind? What's wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?" She went, "He's coming with me." I went, "If you don't leave now, I'm not going to do anything. But the woman sitting right there in shotgun is going to come around here and give you an ass whooping like you've never had before. I promise you don't want to rile her up."
Your girl would.
I locked the door because Joe would have came right out and put an old 1-2 Oscar De La Hoya ass whooping on this batshit crazy lady.
Of course.
Because she's going for my kid.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
And she goes,
scary.
"I think it's time I need to leave." I went, "I 100% think it's time for you to leave."
That's
What
so
the
scary.
fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know.
What do you do though? She's so old. She went, "He's coming with me."
Yeah, that's terrifying.
It's not even terrifying.
Well, I
I was
mean,
like,
it's
it's
just-
not.
she's
If
not
it was
all
like
there.
like 2 big dudes, I'm like, God damn,
She's
yeah.
not all there. She's just
How she seemed? I'm talking.
Yeah.
Didn't look like a bum
until they
nothing.
snap, until something happens.
It wasn't even snap. It was just very like weird. Like her eyes. She's like, "He's coming with me." I was like, "Are you out your goddamn mind?
Yeah.
Go ahead and reach for that kid again. I'm gonna snap your fucking arm like a Twix bar."
I had a very similar experience. But
Don't one up my story
Nope,
and
nope.
say it was taken stone. They stole
no,
the kid.
yeah. The kid.
Oh, crazy man!
the
They
kid was
took
taken.
it, and then I was in Europe.
It was a van full of old ladies,
Yeah.
and they were dressed like clowns. Now listen, it was the insane clown posse, old lady posse.
dude.
I'm in Calabasas, and in Calabasas at the Commons, there are all these turtles. There's this big fountain, like this huge fountain. And
What kind of turtle?
Literally
Like the
these
rainbow
river
turtles?
turtles, like these big turtles, river
I
turtles.
love me a
And there are
turtle.
probably, without exaggeration, and I'm not exaggerating, 300 turtles, 400 turtles in there. I mean, everywhere. They're
All
on top
man-made.
of each other.
Man-made.
Yeah, man-made. But there are turtles on top of each other,
Yeah.
and the turtles will
Turtle
come
on
out
turtle
on
on
the rocks,
turtle, yeah.
and sometimes they'll get up on the ledge, and then sometimes they'll fall off, and you got to put them back on. It's crazy. But the kids all love to come and see them, and they're huge fish, the big koi and everything else. So my son, being 4 at the time, sees a turtle and tips it over into the water.
Well,
Because it's there, and it actually wasn't supposed to be on the ledge, and he goes, oh, what that? And just like throws it over on the water, like, get in the water, like that. And a lady grabs his head, this older lady grabs the top of his head
pulls it.
and just holds his head. And my wife doesn't see this. She's looking the opposite direction. She turns his head and she goes, do not ever do that to a turtle. And I gently take her wrist and I lifted her hand
Yeah.
and I go, yep. And I gently,
I would have crushed her hand like this.
boys will be boys. And she goes, I understand that. But parents around here think they can let their kids do whatever the fuck they want. And it makes me want to take a hammer and smash his little head.
No, she didn't.
Swear to God. Now,
How old is this? Like a mom? No,
oh, she's
older lady.
no. You know what she reminded me of? I felt like she was a 60-something-year-old, maybe a late 50s librarian,
balls deep in
who worked
turtles.
at the library or somewhere there,
And
She
loves turtles.
She did something. She operated a snow cone machine.
Instead of
Something-
cat lady, she's turtle lady.
yes, something was going on where she probably went through a lot of weird stuff when she was younger, made a lot of big mistakes like drugs.
She
whatever.
might just be a fucked
And now
up.
she's working a snow cone thing somewhere. She's doing what she has to do to get things going. And she's in a rich area and she ain't happy about it. But she's also a nasty person. She's
Yeah.
also.
So what'd you
know,
say?
You kind of say that you might have always been a nasty person, and maybe that's why things haven't. What came first, chicken or the egg? And my wife turns as she says that, and I think
Your wife heard it?
No, I thought she heard it because if she had heard it, it would have been a bad situation.
It'd been awesome. Amanda would have drowned her
Yes.
in that fucking turtle tank.
And when she said I'd smashed his little head, I said, well, I get it. You would try. And I feel that way sometimes about general people. I just want to kill everybody. You know what I mean? Just like break their necks. So I'm right with you. I'd like to machine gun everybody sometimes. Just good. And my wife, I started going, good. And just watch people fall like soldiers.
Jesus, man.
And she just started, she looked at me and backed up as she was
you
watching me.
you went up there and crazy.
She was watching me. Yes, as she was watching me, as she was backing up, and I was going, good.
That's
And
kind of scary.
I kept fucking.
As she's walking away, going.
Yep. And then she goes, whatever the fuck they want, I guess, and just walked away.
She was crazy, man. I'll tell you what. You don't.
And she was not.
You
I
don't
think she was
realize
less
the
crazy and
type.
more of an asshole.
You don't see that. I can't have that.
well,
I
that's
can't.
what
That
I-
I'll take a swift hand. In your
I'm
face.
very nice to crazy. Like I get it. What I'll do.
Crazy.
Is with you.
I get a
Yeah.
little bit like this older lady,
Yeah.
but
for this
asshole.
this was kind of just an asshole, and I could feel it because I'm pretty good at clocking.
all rules are off when you mess with someone's kid.
Yeah.
That's what I learned, man. All rules are off. If that old lady would have kept coming after my son,
They always say that the
I would have hit her like Tales from the Crypt. Just fucking
they
good
say that
douche.
dictatorships are brought down. Also
And then I would have tweeted out, listen, you're going to see me on the news. It's going to say I hit an old lady, but let me cover a little distance here.
Yeah.
She was going after my kid. She's batshit crazy. I was basically making sure she didn't run away with my kid.
Dictatorships.
Someone bail me out.
Dictatorships are brought down, they say, when they begin to kill your children. When a military dictatorship, and there's so many examples of that, begin to turn on its citizenry's children. Famous story of the African dictator, and I can't remember what country it was. He was driving through. He was a real son of a bitch, and school kids started throwing stones at his car, and he got so mad that he took about 200 of those kids, and they just disappeared, and they killed him. They think that he might have thrown them to crocodiles
Jesus.
or shot him, something like that. That was the beginning of the end for him. That was where the entire country
Yeah,
said,
no shit.
you can't do that.
No shit. I don't think anyone's like,
And
God,
he was brought down.
Brendan and Bryan are assholes. Nah, have a kid. Have some crazy lady try stealing
Well,
your kid.
because what happens is now I don't want peace. Now I want. That's why when someone like Donald Trump says, do you have to kill their families, which is against the Geneva Conventions for a reason, not just for humanitarian
Well, he
reasons.
just doesn't get it.
When you say stuff like that, you what you do is you create more terrorism because as a
That's how
human
ISIS is
being,
formed,
as
yeah.
a human being,
Yeah.
if you kill my
No, we
children,
know
I don't
this
want
beef.
peace. Yeah. But these are
Um,
things that, you have to remind yourself.
Yeah, don't touch my fucking kid. There's reminder
Don't
for you.
touch my
I don't
kid.
care what's going on in the Congo, ISIS. Don't touch my kid.
It's your genetic
That's the
imperative.
moral.
It's the generic imperative.
It's also just, hey man,
Genetic imperative.
can't grab baby TT when we're grabbing donuts. You just can't. That's off limits, man.
That's your lifeline to immortality. That's how you live on.
Yeah, he's my son.
It's deep.
I'll tell you what, I'm pretty crunk for. I'm trying to work on tickets now. They're doing a live Nightmare Before Christmas, Friday, Saturday at the Hollywood Bowl, where Danny Elfman sings the original songs and the entire original cast. So they play the movie above, then the original cast is below doing the.
I would never think you'd want to go to that.
What? I hit up CAA, was like, yo, because they represent them. I need the tickets, son.
I cannot believe that.
Oh, yeah.
I would
Nightmare
never
Before
go.
Christmas, I went opening night with my mom. Packed, sat on the floor, which is super
What year
illegal.
was that?
What year did it come out, Ev? Can you look that
Is
up?
that Tim Burton?
I'm gonna go with 94, but
Danny Elfman, Tim Burton.
Wow.
Danny Elfman's the musical artist, right?
I don't know.
The composer. Oh, you've never seen
He's
the movie?
a beast.
Super beast.
93.
I'm also impressed.
So
with
I was
Danny Elfman.
10.
Wow.
I was 10. Opening night, AMC theaters. God, off Colorado Boulevard. Remember, it's the
Was
only
that
one
Johnny
getting into.
Depp?
No.
Who was in it?
I don't know that. There's like no real famous actors in it, but Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, were the.
Wow. Tim Burton's a beast.
You never seen that movie, huh?
I sure haven't.
Classic. You guys have seen it, huh?
I don't know.
3 nights. 3 nights Hollywood Bowl. I'd love to do that.
I have never been to the Hollywood Bowl. Been here 21 years.
I've been there once. I saw Zach Brown band. Went with Timmy. That was fun, man.
I think I was at that show.
Were you? That was a fun one.
I've never heard of
bro.
Zach Brown.
No, well, okay. You're 50. That's insane.
Zach Brown?
Yeah,
Is he
fuck
big?
yeah.
Isn't that sad that I don't know who Zach Brown is? I'm getting old.
Dude, I was shooting on Saturday all freaking day and night, and we were on break, and we had the longest break. I've been listening to a podcast on not a podcast, listening to a book on audio, right? And I'm so bored. It's like 4 hours, and we're supposed to go, and we didn't. And then one of the guys who on the shows, that he's like this Mr. History major, and I'm watching a thing on that that Kanye West sent to Kim Kardashian for her birthday. He like put together like this montage. It's terrible, by the way. It's awful. And I'm watching it, but the volume's up, and I didn't realize everyone else like didn't have headphones in. And the history guy, his name's Jeff Woroff. Dime piece, by the way, too. 50-year-old dime piece. And he goes, Shab, what do you listen to over there? And I right away, because there's all these like scholars around. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, what? He's all, what do you? I
God.
couldn't even make up something.
I'd be nervous,
I
too.
went, this, Kim? Do you know who Kanye West is? He goes, yeah. I went, he made a birthday tribute song to Kim Kardashian. He goes,
Oh, God.
he waits and she goes, you're rotting your brain. I went, I know, man. I've been listening to that goddamn book you told me all day, though, and I'm really bored. He went back to his World War I book, writing
Oh,
it.
that's so great.
I was like, God damn
Surrounded
it.
by scholars, man.
God damn it. You
It's
still got to be yourself, though.
It's great, though, that you're doing that. Of course you do.
Yeah, it was
I
interesting.
would have lied. I would have been embarrassed, too.
I thought about it, but I'm like, they knew. That's why he asked.
What do you listen to?
I was like, God damn it. It was
Do
all
they
wrong.
ask you? I'm curious. Do those guys who are scholars, do they ask you about fighting and what it's like, or they're not interested in all? They're not physical people, right?
No, they ask for sure.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, nothing. Not like Brian Callen style. You know, like they don't care that much. They're just interested in certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But any sports fans? Are they sports fans?
There's
or-
football fans.
They are
A
football.
lot of people are football
Okay.
fans there. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wild.
Pretty wild.
Pretty wild.
What else should you do, buddy? Calgary.
Calgary?
We're in Brea Wednesday. That bitch is sold out, I think, already.
It's sold out.
Pretty sure. There might
How
be
we
a few
doing?
VIP
How we
tickets
doing?
left.
Palm Beach. Well, we got New York.
New
Comedy
York.
Festival.
That's next week.
Delia's going to be out there. Chris Lee will be out there.
Same time as this or no?
Yes, same time as us.
Perfect.
And I told him I'd try to get him tickets to our show.
Ooh, that's tough.
I
Delia.
know. November 3rd.
November
And then
3rd,
How are we
Gramercy
doing
Theater.
at Palm Beach? November 11th.
It's far away. I
12th?
haven't checked yet. I know Atlanta's doing well, and then Palm Beach, Florida. First time we're in Florida, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I like
Is it gonna be
Florida.
hot as shit down there? Didn't they just have a hurricane
No,
or some
it'll be
shit?
beautiful. It'll be rainy. What'll happen in Florida is it'll rain. It'll rain so fucking hard, like raindrops the size of your head.
Bryan, I've been to Florida, buddy. Played football there too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
32. Yeah, I've been to Florida for sure.
Yeah.
The thing about Florida is
Florida.
we're gonna
Oh,
need.
wet in the air.
Yeah.
Wet. The air. That sticky air makes me horny.
I'm gonna need to go on a crocodile tour. I like to jump on the old hovercrafts and go for a little croc hunt.
Well, you'll go for an alligator hunt. However, there are Nile crocodiles in the Everglades, and that's because people in the 70s and 80s let their baby crocodiles go when they bought them at pet stores. Now, the giants.
The giants.
They got some giants out there, and they are to be shot on sight, and you are to shoot them with everything you have.
Well, because you can eat crocodile tail and shit and meat down there.
You kill the Nile crocodiles because they'll eat everything, including, and I heard
Little boys at
zoologists tell me this-
Disneyland.
Oh, they'll
Disney
eat everything.
World.
No, those are.
That's what took
alligators.
that boy at Disney World. I think it was a crocodile.
Okay, maybe, but either way,
Either way,
It's a
either
giant
way,
lizard.
you don't want to run to either.
Please understand that the Nile crocodile will seek you out the minute you touch the water. He's coming for you. Alligators run away. Nile crocodile, are you in the water? Oh, and they come. There's nothing there, huh? Yeah, they come right at you. Your food. And I heard a zoologist told me, he said, Nile crocodile is the most dangerous animal in the world. I said, what do you mean? He said, I was in Uganda and I saw one eat a tire. I went, what? He goes, they eat a tire. They'll eat everything.
Jesus.
I was like, that's
Well, if you
nuts.
see the cover art for Florida, it's you and I beating the shit out of a alligator. For that reason.
I know.
Don't make us do that in real life.
No, don't make us do that. Here's what we do. Here's what you do if you have to fight an alligator, and it's two of us. You got to get, this is what I do. I go, Brendan, throw your arm around his neck, pull him up, arch him up. And then I get behind and I lift his
Rip his
tail.
eyeballs?
Nope, I lift his tail up and I grab the back feet. I keep those back feet because he's going to try to back
Those
up
little
into the
shitty
water.
feet.
He's got those shitty feet, but they're strong as fuck.
No, their tail's the problem.
Yeah, you're talking about a dinosaur. You're talking about a dinosaur.
I love when people say dinosaurs don't exist. Bitch, look at the crocodile.
That's a dinosaur, okay?
It's a dinosaur.
So what I got to do is I got to figure out a way to get that dinosaur tail up in the air. Probably not going to happen because he's going to turn around and bite me. However, you got to hold his fucking head. I'm going to lift his goddamn feet. I'm going to be a nuisance to them back feet because he's going to try to back up.
It's the tail, brother.
The tail's going to be a problem. But I'll tell you what. I'm going to lift those fucking. I'm going to sit on his ass and I'm going to crank those goddamn feet up. I'm going to roll those feet up. I'm going to pull. I'm going to grab his feet, two handles, and I'm going to yank up as hard as I can. I'm trying to
Are you
dislocate
talking about
those
wheelbarrow
fucking legs.
him? You're going to
Oh,
wheelbarrow him.
Wheelbarrow.
And I kick his stupid dinosaur
Wheelbarrow.
face in.
I don't know what we have to do. I think you can drown
I think
a croc.
I think I give him the old white supremacist curb stomp to the face.
Well, they can
I don't wear
take a
those
beating.
boots though.
They can take a beating, and plus, remember, you're in
God,
mud.
they can't
you're in
take a
mud,
beating.
And as you're kicking him, he's just going into the mud, and he's
And
fine.
I'm not fucking up my to boot New York boots either.
You are.
Nah.
The famous story: the kid gets caught by a crocodile in Africa. I think it was Kenya. Croc grabs the kid, and they're at a picnic, and everybody jumps in that water, and they're holding on to that kid, and they're holding on to that crocodile, and that croc won't let go of the kid, and it took them a good hour
They got him though.
to get the kid out of the jaws of the crocodile. Oh yeah,
Oh, they got him though.
yeah, they got him.
What's a positive
You
story?
jump on that croc's back.
It's gonna take a lot of guys, man.
When I was a kid, I was in Africa, Kenya. I looked down at the crocs. I'm 14, and 14, all I wanted to be was a tough guy, just like at 49.
Still no.
Nothing's changed.
No.
My big dad next to me, and I never forgot this. I've never been more embarrassed. I was with a group of people. There's a girl I wanted to impress. I was 14, and I said, "Man, if that crocodile grabs somebody, there were huge signs. You're eating outside. Don't go past this line. There are crocodiles there, and you were looking at all the crocs down the river. It's kind of a tourist thing." And I said, if one of those crocodiles grabbed somebody, I'd go down there and stab it. And my father turned to me and said, "No, you wouldn't. You'd watch in horror. That's what you would do.
Hey, Papa
You'd
Cal,
watch in
relax.
horror while that person died."
Your dad's
He
right.
got annoyed at me for trying to be tough.
That would annoy me the fuck out of
Yeah.
me too.
And he goes, "You'd watch in horror." And I was so embarrassed. I remember feeling so small. I was like, fucking right. He's probably right.
Yeah,
didn't have
I'll
to-
prove you
you didn't have
wrong.
to piss on my parade.
Well, your dad. It's good your dad did that though.
Of course it's good.
You remember the crocodiles we saw in Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Was that how long? Was that 2 years ago?
Yes. And I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember when? Well, no, it wasn't 2 years. When it was your brother's
Bachelor party.
parties.
Was it
That
a year
was-
ago?
Yeah. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, but as we were leaving, remember when all those cows? So we saw Osama bin Laden, the one they call Osama, the giant crocodile. It was like
It's
literally
kind of boring though.
23 feet.
You know what?
Slow as shit.
They're super Hollywood now because they know the tour goes through there, so they just chill there because they know they're gonna get food.
Yeah.
So they're like not aggressive. They know they don't have to do much.
Yeah.
That's why you can like touch them and shit.
But did you see?
Because if you were on a real safari and you ran up there, that guy wouldn't jump in the water.
Yeah.
Because there's a dude who's getting like $7 a day. He'll jump in with capris on. I mean, up to his knees
It's
in mud.
so nuts.
Slap chicken, and then the crocodile comes up and eats it.
Yeah.
If this was a real safari, you know what I'm saying? They weren't so Hollywood. Like
Yeah,
these crocodiles are so
you
Hollywood.
would not be doing that.
What? They'd be like, look at this fool. Fuck the chicken. Let's eat
That's
him.
what they do too.
I know. They would
But-
come up with a game plan and eat him alive. That's the shit I'm looking for.
That's the shit you're looking for.
That's what I'm looking for. I'd pay good money to have
Good
him
money.
kind of tussle with
And
that
you'd
croc.
watch in horror.
I would film it and watch in
You would
horror.
watch in horror.
And then yell, World Star!
Do you remember when they let the cows come down to drink when we were leaving, and Osama bin Laden, the giant, the 23-footer, was there, and he was just sitting in the water, like just with his nostrils up and his eyes, just staring at them, just
He's
hanging
kinda
out.
cute.
Yep, and the cows came to drink, and they wouldn't drink. I swear to God, I remember one of them just backing up and bumping into the other one, and then looking at him and
going, Jesus
Yep, and they were all milling about, standing a good 15 feet, would not come anywhere near the water. They instinctually knew. They were like, I may be a giant cow, I ain't fucking with that huge lizard.
I've
Something's
never
off.
really had any close encounters with any animals like that. Have you? Like
Thank
dangerous
God,
ones?
Thank God, no.
Do you see the video I posted of the dragon? It said,
was great.
true or false?
I commented on it.
Oh, did you?
I said it's a Chinese eagle with a Chinese cobra in tow.
How ridiculous that
What
video.
is that? What was that?
I don't know. Someone tagged me and I was like, this is hilarious.
great.
And with all the conspiracy theories, and all,
Well,
flat
how about-
Earth
How
and this
about Rogan
dragon.
did drop the flat Earth thing?
Dragon.
Rogan dropped the flat Earth thing, and
What do you mean drop the flat Earth
he
thing?
just he had
He
this
doesn't
joke.
support it.
No. He had this funny thing is if you think blah 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 the Earth is round, you may be brainwashed if you think, and it's all this flat Earth conspiracy horse shit. And it was great because there were 2,000 comments of just the biggest dummies on the planet. If you want dummies, it's like
Post some conspiracy.
flies
Yeah.
to like sticky paper. If you want to get real dummies, we could get rid of all the dummies. The way you do it is this: you just make sure nobody can vote if they are all in
It's
favor
up there
of
on
flat
the-
Earth theory. They just say if you're in favor of flat Earth
There it
theory,
is.
then you're a complete dummy. All those people are like, dude, the pictures of the Earth are fake as fuck. Oh, Mr. Know-It-all, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Hey,
Yeah, he is.
You've taken class 0 in physics, you non-educated fucking idiot.
How ridiculous is it? But they all jump together like, bro, you need to open your eyes,
Oh
man.
my God!
Open up. Bitch, I have 2 degrees.
You need to never vote and shut up and just stay in your stupid
But
group.
this is the bummer. They have kids.
Oh, that's
So their
such a
kids
bummer.
go, Daddy, in 3rd grade,
No.
it's going to be a round picture of the Earth. And he's going to go, son, listen
Forced
to me. Your
sterilization.
teacher's wrong
Yeah.
because the Earth is square and flat.
No vaccines. The Earth is flat. All that. You should be forcibly sterilized, and not be allowed to vote. Otherwise, you're awesome. Otherwise, do whatever you want. You'll be my friend. I'll still love you. I'm not
But
gonna be a dick.
you know
to
what's weird is because of the digital age, those people really didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
But now
They're great.
you're forced, not
bringing
forced,
back the
but
flat
now you
Earth.
can see.
The Earth is flat.
How crazy is that?
Really?
They're like, you don't think it's a little weird? We've only been to moon once.
Oh, they're so
That's not
great.
weird, and you've never been back.
I wonder why when higher
a good
latitudes, how
point,
come
though.
at higher latitudes the sun hits the Earth at different angles, and that's why it's not as strong? What about that? Or about, do I have to really actually defend why the Earth is round? I can't. Anyway.
No, we can't. You can't.
No.
You can't.
No, those are the things we're like, what?
Am I going
Are
crazy?
we going, what? It's hilarious. But they're so not students of any kind of history or of anything. They don't know even how the world works.
Open your eyes, Brian.
They're great.
It's hilarious.
It's actually incredible. It cracks me up. This is what I was thinking the other day. Why do you educate yourself? What's the point? What's the point of learning about all the things that went on before you? And what's the point of
About
learning
history?
how human evolution happened? Like as we began to come up with technologies, like just the cell phone, the mic I'm talking into. All these incredible things that we can do, harnessing electricity, harnessing nuclear power, all the things that we talk about. And it goes on, and we continue to do that. Well, the reason that we're able to, the people are able to listen to me through a cell phone or just a mic, let's just take that as an example, is that there are certain laws of physics that were discovered and harnessed and figured out. But why in the world, how do we come up with ways to irrigate or feed so many people? Or how do we have a political system that actually works for most people?
Hey, bro, what's wrong with your nose? You keep picking your nose.
I don't know. But the point is this. Education, there is a way through trial and error to find the best way of doing things. There is a way through trial and error to find the actual way that makes sense, that is mathematically correct as well, that bears really good results. Like, how do you cross-pollinate genes to create fruits that are, resistance to,
No, technology is amazing, man.
So the point I'm making, follow me on this. The point I'm making is that education is important because it teaches you the difference between a good idea, between a bad idea, between a dangerous idea, between a beneficial idea, between an idea that's already been thought of and it's just a reworked idea. So sometimes when you see somebody who's a guru and you might pay money and follow that person, all they're doing is kind of the cliff notes of thoughts that have been formulated so long ago and in better fashion. You understand? So you'll save yourself money and time.
I don't see
and live your life.
Our
the
listeners,
best way.
we don't have a huge issue with it because we really don't fuck with the conspiracy. That's
I know.
do that on Rogan's.
You know what?
I'm saying? Like
And-
we
yeah,
really
you're
don't
right.
have that issue.
And I'll tell you this:
You're not going to see people on our forums and all that or whatever our page going, bro, come on, man, Tower set. That's not
Yeah.
for us.
One of the
like
gr-
our audience right now is going, we know, bitch.
100%.
Like they're like, yeah.
One of the
No
cool things
shit.
about performing for our audience, and I do even more of it just on the road, and with so many Fighter and Kid fans come, I do notice that people are, for the most part, our listeners are smart dudes and smart gals. They're into learning. They're into hearing it. They're into
Dude, I was at with the Westwood where UCLA's at. I went down there because my girl wanted to eat at Boiling Crab. You ever been there? Wasted. Good. Have you ever been to Boiling Crab?
No.
She wanted to go down there. It's literally right now. You've been. I'm sure Kayla's Boiling Crab. You love it?
I don't love it, but I've gone there before.
So Boiling Crab, you sit down. It's literally like you get a sack full of shrimp and with heads on. They have the entire head shell, and there's like a Cajun sauce on them. You need a bib. It's messy as fuck. So I got that crab. It's such a beast to eat the shrimp, man. It takes, I don't know, I was there for like an hour and a half eating shrimp. And then you get just
that's a
weird
lot of
stuff.
work.
It's a lot of work.
your
Anyways,
fingers.
I can't. Not for me.
yeah.
Not for me. It drove me nuts. It's
You
like
do that
sunflower
bucket of
seeds.
shrimp
It's
shit?
all
I
that
know.
fucking work. Just give me shrimp cocktail. Anyways, never want to go back. Anyways, we're in Westwood, and I'm strolling around with baby TT, and it's right by UCLA, and you see all the students. And I remember thinking, like, God damn, look how young these little bastards are. And I remember thinking, what an advantage they have, too, especially at UCLA. It's a tough school to get into, super tough to get into, especially now. Yeah. But I was at Starbucks, and there's so many students there focusing on their academics. I'm like, God, I wish when I was in college I focused on academics more. Granted, I was a double major, but you're balancing academics and sports, man. Sports comes first. I don't give a fuck what they tell you on ESPN or Fox Sports or Pardon the Interruption. It's just not. It's not true. Like you're majoring in sports, and if you have the ability to focus on school too, do that. But make sure you're playing good ball and focus on your sport. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I was just like, damn, if I could redo it. Granted, sports got me here in the path I chose. But it'd be cool to be just balls deep in your major. If that's something you wanted to do. 100%. I remember looking at those kids and like, damn. And I remember I was telling Joe about T. I was like, obviously he's a big kid already. He's way bigger than most of the kids at his age, blah, 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 walking already and talking. And I said, good chance he's going to be athletic, but the biggest thing, you just want that little dude to be freaking smart. You want to be knowledgeable.
Yeah, or at least be exposed to the questions. The best class I ever took in college was an intellectual history class where they would where we studied the birth of ideas that kind of revolutionized
that sounds
things.
cool.
Like natural law. Like I remember the teacher said he was talking about natural law. It's right and wrong, natural. You kill somebody no matter what the circumstances, you do the time. And of course, with court of law, there's got to be circumstances. When you get in there, what are those circumstances?
Yeah, there's some tough situations.
And they'll give you those situations where they'll say somebody steals a ham to feed their kids, but there isn't a lot of ham, and because they want to feed their kids, the kids are starving. But the town
still stealing.
The town is also hungry, and you're taking the rations, how do you judge that
That's
person?
a cool class.
It's a great class because what happens is a class inevitably gets into these arguments, but you've got to come up with an answer. And it forces you to think through things you never thought you had to think through. So much of like the way we live our lives is predicated on kind of decisions we don't really have to pay a price for. But there are times in life when you have to pay a price for certain
But
things.
there's also, and I think college should do a better job at it, and the show I'm doing now gave me this insight too, is when you have a personal connection to something. So let's take World War II, for instance.
Yeah.
World War II, that history professor, him and I were talking. I'm reading this book on World War II, and I start talking to my dad about it, who's just here. Well, I had no idea. Grandpa Shab, my grandpa, was in World War II. I knew that. They mentioned it when I was growing up. Oh, he wasn't just in it. Well, he was a captain at 21. He drove a tank. Oh, and he got attacked by Nazis in Denmark.
Wow.
And he also killed, and he told my dad the story on his deathbed, his last week on this earth. He gave the story on he killed a Nazi with his bare hands. Wow. And then he found out after that kid was 19, the German Nazi was 19. He got his wallet out, and he had a picture of his wife and 2 small babies.
God damn.
So my grandpa, it's war, man. It's
war.
freaking war. It's World War II. It's war. So he saved that, got her name, everything, saved all that. Was shot right after that happened. He was shot through the leg. I always wondered what was wrong with his leg. They never really told me. He was shot with a machine gun by Nazis that went through his calf and his heel and out the front. So he was got 2 purple hearts and a bronze medal, and a bunch of other awards.
Wow.
Came back to America, but his goal was to find that widow, that the guy that he killed, find her and apologize. And he it was this heavy weight pressure on him to find her and apologize. And I guess he never got over it. How crazy is that?
How
but
would you,
going back to the personal connection, before, you know how it is in school. They go over World War II and like, okay, man, next. Let me pass the test, blah, blah, blah. All right, my grandpa might have been if I'm Jewish, I get it. It's in our culture. German, I get it, blah, blah, blah. But then if you have a personal connection to it, I told my dad, I'm like, dude, if I never did this, you wouldn't have told me any of this. What the fuck?
Isn't that funny?
And they sent me pictures with the medal. I'm like, well, first of all, I look identical to my grandpa. And he was such a badass.
Yeah,
such
was he
a
big
badass.
like you?
Yeah, I'm
Probably.
not small, but
Yeah.
like thick dude. And at 21, captain was
Yeah.
just this monster.
Yeah.
Killed this Nazi with his hands, which they don't talk about. I was like, dude, he's such a badass.
Yeah.
But if I never had this person, now I'm balls deep in World War II.
Yeah.
We went over in college and in high school. But if you can make a personal connection,
Well,
and that's what I was saying.
It sounds like to me is like you open your mind up to you're educating yourself, and it opened up a chapter in your own life you didn't know existed. And a connection, and even you are, whether you know it or not, you are a product of that event that happened in one way or another. That trauma that your grandfather went through.
A lot of people are, and it's the personal connection.
There you
but
go.
the thing that's huge too
You know what I'm
is
saying though? Like that Nazi dying
Yeah.
or that 19-year-old kid dying probably had that residue. Your father, it informed how your father raised his son. It informed how his son raised you, whether you know it or not.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
it's a butterfly effect.
Fuck yeah.
The same thing too
It's a
is
great story, dude.
crazy,
Jesus.
right?
Yeah.
And the other thing was, God, I forget where I was going with that. But it's brought me and my dad closer, and just this personal connection to the war. And in school, I feel like if you can somehow, you know what I'm saying? When you're just sitting down there going through all this stuff, when you make it a personal connection, it's so much easier to retain the information. Does that make sense?
100%. Then that's
but
kind of the
this is
whole
what I was
thing.
going to say as I'm going through this World War II. When they arrived, on D-Day, the famous D-Day on Normandy Beach, and then those Higgins boats, and they have to get to shore, and you do the research and you look through what those guys were going through and the amount of fire. Well, imagine those guys are 21, 22, 19, 18, and the general was like, hey, we're going to die. So, because they said they were terrified. Their hands were shaking because there's so much onslaught. Everyone's dying. Everyone's fucking getting picked apart because the Nazis are up here. It was a horrible, you know what I'm saying?
Normandy, right?
Normandy,
Yes.
D-Day,
Yeah.
1944. And they're coming up.
Yeah.
And so these young soldiers who, they've never really been in war like that before, they're shaking their boots because chances are you're going to die.
You're going to die in the water.
Most likely you're going to die in the water. Yeah. Oh, and they have 100 pounds of luggage too.
You're sitting down.
So, but the ones that did make it to the beach, the very few, they're up against a bunker where this the only place where they could get safety from the fire, and they're shaking. And this is what I was thinking of. Made me think of, I always correlate back to sports, but the leadership of that general. He had to talk them in to getting over that bunker to pursue the Nazis, because he goes, if we don't do it, the rest of those guys are going to die.
God.
So they're 19 years old. They're shaking. Some are throwing up. They're so scared. And he convinces them to get up and fight and cross and go over. Wow. And when I heard this story, I was reading it, I'm getting chills now. I was like, holy fuck. Imagine
real
the
leader.
Balls on that general. I'm like, listen, dudes, I get it, man. We're probably going to die. If we stay here, we're going to die no matter what. At least if we go up there, the guys behind us might advance a little more. I need you guys to get the fuck up and start moving. Nuts when you think about it.
Of course it is.
At 19, 20, 21.
God. And by the way, what are they doing there? They're you don't get young men to do that without filling them with a sense of purpose, without filling them with principles. What a badass that guy must have been. Because what you're really saying to them is, you got to put these guys you don't
talking
know
about General
behind
Kodak.
You got to put God, you got to put country, you got to put core ahead of yourself. And those stories, every time you hear those stories, somebody tweeted something really, really, really cool to me. And I want to thank them, because I was talking about fulfillment comes from accomplishment. And then I did Rogan's podcast, and he was saying, I don't know, I've seen a lot of people that are really good at one thing, and they're assholes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you've said that too.
Yeah. You said that?
Well, we were just talking about
that
how
doesn't sound like you.
No, but we were just talking about how, a fulfillment comes
You
from
said
getting really good at
something.
something.
You said
Building something, getting really good at something. And somebody tweeted me and said, hey, dude, it's also about how many people you help.
Yeah.
And what you do for other people. And I went, fuck, obviously.
That doesn't sound like you.
It doesn't. And I
think
forgot
maybe
about
they just
that.
took a thing out, an accomplishment. That's not true.
They were right, though, to remind me that I didn't mention that. And every time you hear these like stories like that, that give you goosebumps, it's a lot of times, maybe all the time, about how somebody put themselves in the very back and put everybody else ahead of them for a greater cause, for the greater good. That shit is really, really inspiring. Principles. Like, I think that's why and I've talked to veterans, World War II veterans, about this. Like, there's something about, I said, what were you like when you came back and you had survived, And they said, just more serious about my life, and things mattered, and principles mattered. And realized that this is a nation of ideals.
Boy, my grandpa came back, busted out 13 kids. What's up?
Uh-huh.
Was like, huh? It's time to get going.
Yeah. And by the way,
icing. Shop clan is born.
Think about the stakes. We were fighting the Japanese and the Germans. And if we had lost, if Britain had fallen, if the United States had fallen, we might be specking Deutsch.
I got trivia for you.
Japanese.
Hey, I get some dropping knowledge for your old ass.
Yeah.
Who had the most deaths in World War II?
Russia.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who's number 2?
Probably Germany, I would imagine. But I have to think. Definitely not the United States. Not even close.
No.
Could have been France. Could have been Germany.
China.
It was China? That makes sense because of Manchuria and because of the Japanese.
Super violent.
If I had thought about that, I would have known that. I mean, what the Japanese did to China,
I think it's Russia,
horrifying.
China, then the Jews.
Yeah, I should have known that. Well, there's 6 million Jews.
Yeah.
Documented. And the Nazis kept
But
very good documentation.
Yeah, but they're saying the Russians, it's insane. But the Chinese, they don't even know how many died.
Well, Manchuria itself was some of the most ferocious killing, with the exception of Rwanda. Manchuria had the most ferocious concentrated killing. What the Japanese did there was, Iris Chang, who wrote a book called The Rape of Nanking, put her head in an oven, killed herself after writing the book.
Well, that's intense.
She couldn't take it. She couldn't take it.
Yeah, I just looked up the stats on the World War II death tolls by nation. Not only was Russia first, they were first by 10 million.
Yeah.
They had 20 million. China had 10 million.
Yeah, there you go.
World War I as well.
Stalin, because he thought soldiers were just, they were just toys. Like he'd have them run at tanks.
Yeah, right. Stalin.
Hey!
And the guy,
hey man, if I was on the Russian, I'm like, no, run at that fucking tank.
If you didn't run, your officers
Unschneiser.
Your officer. Well, that's Russian. That's German. But your officers.
Well, no, I'm Russian.
Your officers
German.
Behind you would shoot you in the head if you didn't run.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Instead of run straight at the tank.
Yeah.
God, dog.
And trench warfare in World War I was horrific too. World War I and World War II are considered the Great Civil War of Europe. They're connected. World War II is a continuation of World War I. That's literally all it was. There was a break for 40 years.
Cool stories, though, man.
Re-armored.
I've been balls deep in World War II stuff. I watched, and I've never seen it, and you guys are going to make fun of me. I watched Private Ryan for the first time yesterday.
There's nothing wrong
with it. Have you seen
it? Yes, and it was very hard to watch. It's very realistic.
Woo! It's realistic. Yeah. My God.
Yeah. You come out of it a very different person. Man.
Hey, Private Ryan. Let's go ahead and go with Tom Hanks though from the jump, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and just not stay there and just kind of leave, get going.
Yeah.
Good movie though, long movie. Shout out Steven
movie.
Spielberg.
Beast. Obsessed with World War II himself.
Great movie.
It's really good that you're learning that stuff. Again, the events of 60 years ago have everything to do with how we live our lives, everything to do with how we think about politics, how we think about each other, how we think about the world.
Well, I just think it's dope to make a personal connection with my family because if I didn't do this, my dad would have never told me that stuff. Send me pictures. My dad's so happy now.
What a lesson in life. The more you learn, when you broaden your horizons, when you broaden your passions, when you learn about other things, you will open up new chapters in your life. You will learn new things about yourself and about your family, about where you come from. And I think the world becomes more interesting and it becomes more detailed and more colored. You see, you kind of lose you get new eyes maybe. You know, you see things differently. It's so fucking great. It's so great. But that's kind of what's great about we're going back to education and going back to this stuff is that you kind of also realize that, you know, for example, lawyers, Radiolab did an amazing thing called, I think, the Hidden Bodies case, where this lawyer was defending this killer. And he was a good guy, the lawyer. He'd been a Marine. He'd been a decorated combat vet. He's a really kind of upstanding guy. He gets this guy. He's got to defend him. And the guy starts talking and says, he talks about where he hid this girl's body. And he goes to this mine shaft, sees her, goes in there, sees her sneakers and her legs, comes running out and goes, son of a bitch did it. This son of a bitch killed her. The father of the girl comes to the lawyer and says, do you know where my daughter is? Has he told you anything? Now the case is going on.
By law, he can't say anything, right?
He can't say anything as a lawyer. He can't tell him because the case is going on and he's got to defend this guy. There was there was a technicality there. And then finally it comes out after the guy got convicted. But after the case comes out and they find out where the body is, they realize he knew where the body was, the lawyer. And he's lambasted and he's, you know, the media, they even want to bring him up on charges. But then, you know,
the law's protecting
the law,
him.
not only law to protect them, but now they teach that in law school because it's such a difficult case. And they say, if you're a lawyer faced with these situations, here's why you can't tell him. Here's why objective law, everything in his body wanted. He had the daughter. He wanted to tell this fucking guy. Can you imagine the pain? He wanted to so badly. He's like, I want to give up my fucking, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore.
Yeah, it was like in the OJ case. You know, they Shapiro took OJ in there one-on-one, and they do. I think it was only OJ and Shapiro. And they had him do a lie detector test, and he failed not just like one or two, miserably. Wow. And Shapiro was like, holy, and he talks to me, he goes, yeah, he did, I realized he did it then. And they still went on with the thing. But he's like, all right, well, we can't let this get out. If they ask for it, we just can't commit to this. And he was like, and then OJ goes, I was just really nervous. And they're like, Jesus Christ, man. Damn. Even Kardashian was like, that's when I knew he did it.
Really?
And they still got to ride it out, ride or die. I was listening to a dope podcast. I mean to post them. I always forget to post them. People ask me what I listen to. I forget what it is. It's one of the NPRs, but it's freaking Kay, you told me about it. No.
How I Built This?
How I Built This. And they have the guy from Vice.
Yeah.
And the guy from Vice, it's crazy. He was a addict. He was a drug addict, and he was basically, kicked out of his house from his parents, and they're just ask him how he started Vice. So it's only like 30-minute podcast, so it's amazing. They have a bunch of people on there. The lady from Spanx, everyone. So they're asking him how it started, and he goes, well, people always ask me this if I believe in God, and he goes, I really didn't, Muhammad, stuff like that, and, I was brought up Muslim, and he goes, and then, I was an addict, and I was trying to get myself right, and I went into rehab. I've been there, a million times, it never worked out, and I kept doing all this shit, and I was dead broke, and then finally I go to rehab, and he goes, I've always wanted to be a writer. I have no background in it. I have nothing. I just enjoy reading magazines and stuff like that, but I want to be like an alternative writer. So, writing about skateboarding or graffiti or like alternate magazine. And he goes, I'm at rehab, like AA, and but it's NA, Narcotics Anonymous. And he's there, and a guy comes up to him and goes, hey, man, do you write or do anything like that? And he's like, I've always wanted to. And he goes, I bet I could hook you up with someone who might be able to help you. And he's like, how the fuck did you know I wanted to do that? And he goes, I'll take care of you, man. He goes, so the next day the guy goes, hey, go here. Just calls him, gives him an address. He goes there. It's this newspaper, like the Canadian something, the Toronto, blah, blah, blah. And he started working. Well, from there, he branched off on his own, started working. And then his company's worth $4 billion. And that's how Viceland was created.
I love that too.
How crazy is that?
And again, Viceland does stories where you learn the history of something through something really cool, like a soccer game. You know,
They were asking him, "Do you have any regrets?" And he goes, "I have." He goes, "I have a few, but he goes one that's pretty documented, well documented. You know, because they're not necessarily real journalists, right? Like they don't like he has no background. He doesn't have a background from Harvard or Johns Hopkins or anything like that or Oxford. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So they're learning as they go, and there's stuff that they're into, stuff like that. So they had a guy who was, I think he was on the run for something. I forget what it was exactly, but he's on the run, and they did something, but it gave away his location. They forgot to take off the tag with his location, and this guy was giving him stories, you know, as he was on the run for, I forget what it was, but they accidentally put his location. And then the cops came and arrested him. He's like, I regret that one. Because also the rest of the journalists were like, oh, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. These guys are idiots. I told you, that, you know. But now they're worth $4 billion.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I think I said that before. I hope that with mainstream media, which is becoming so dependent on ratings and corporate sponsorship and so fucking opinionated. If you listen to Fox, you get this right-wing point of view that's not objective. If you listen to CNN and MSNBC, you get this very liberal, sort of out-of-touch, progressive
CNN hates
bullshit.
Trump.
And either way, they're both so unbelievably biased. And what I'm hoping...
That's with everything, though, right? Everyone has an agenda. Like, if you watch Fox or you watch...
Yeah, but what I like about Viceland is there's, you know, and more of these sort of like fledgling and new sort of investigative journalist sites, you're getting like... There isn't so much of an agenda. There's more just like, they're just there to show you the
fascinating
truth.
shit. Well, they have,
You know?
like, they have their show... I forget what it's called, but they go in like subcultures. Like they go into the heroin traffic business, or they go into the street fighting business in Japan. The underground. They can't get to it. They do everything. I mean, they do it all, man. It's so cool. Or you like a gaycation where it's the girl from Juneau and her best friend who's gay, and they go around the world and check out the gay scenes, and they sit down with them. You hear how horrible it is for people in Brazil, or they go to Venezuela and how miserable they are, and it just exposes all this stuff where you're not going to see that shit on CNN. You're not going to see that. No, you're not going to see any of that.
Exactly.
It's nuts, man. But
you're going to see the under
damn
tapestry.
I would much rather watch that than any news source.
Yes.
Any news source in the world.
Try being gay in Russia. Try being gay in
They go to Russia. They go to Russia.
A member of the
They do all
Security
that.
Council, UN, like it's supposed to be a modern day.
No. They go. They do all that. They've been
up.
there. They had the state of undress where, you know, they have a girl, and, you know, there's more women than men, so the women really have to make sure, you know, they do everything in order to get a man, and it's crazy. What the shit they do is nuts, man.
Yep.
But to go back to tie this back around, you know, and this is our 200th episode, I will say this: we've never sold out. We've never sold out. If you think about it, think about the mainstream companies we've had that Fox has tried to bring on and we've said no to.
Oh, I thought you said sold out as in like venues.
We've
I was
never
like,
sold
what?
out. No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on. We sell at every venue. Come on.
Sorry.
Oh, we sell out all the time.
No, we
I'm
never,
saying
that we
as
don't-
far as like
that's- we
as
never
far as
will.
Fox or
No,
NBC,
no.
we don't. There's no. We've had people. Oh, we'll sponsor the. Well, no, you can't do that, man.
Can't do it. No.
I think
It's not worth it.
I think you and Rogan said it's gonna be short sighted because down the road people are like, oh, look at these fake asses.
I can't do. Yeah, we got to face those people.
Yeah, and we gotta hustle that product.
You got to hustle that product. I'll tell you something else. Every time I do a show, I see a lot of 5'4" people wearing a lot of 5'4".
Yeah,
because I wear it.
Yeah, I don't think it's
That's
because you.
probably
wear
not because I wear it. God damn it! I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Yeah, that you were doing.
Erase.
Edit.
Erase.
200th episode.
Edit.
You're doing well till then.
Edit. Oh fuck! I was doing so well.
Should we do some current events with them in the
Yeah.
Cub for the 200th episode? Dudes,
Yeah.
I gotta drain this milk
We're
beaker.
gonna go piss. You'll get nothing.
I
like
need
it.
more coffee.
I need
more coffee.
More coffee. I want to rattle out of here.
What do you got, Ev?
All right.
I'm fine.
Before you
Jump
jump in
into
these, are there any fights this weekend, Ev?
There are not.
Okay. I watched Bellator late last night.
I didn't watch
About
it.
midnight I watched it, recorded them. Bobby Lashley,
Yeah, a killer.
jacked. Jacked. Other than that, whatever. Kendall Grove lost against Shamalenko.
How did Bobby do?
Merc, the dude, looked great. I hope they give him he's asking, like, dude, let me step up in competition because he's 5-0 in Bellator, and he's like, let me fight somebody. I think it's time. He looks good, too, though, man. What's this, Av?
Oh,
First one we got, Shane Carwin tweeted a photo of a Rizin fight glove and said that he has accepted a fight with Fedor Emelianenko. The only person who has not signed it, obviously, Fedor. So it's not official,
Well, that's a big
but this
deal.
is an offer on the table.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what. I don't know why else you would sign with Rizin unless they offered you a for sure deal with Fedor. Other than that, who the fuck else are you going to fight? I love Shane like a brother. I don't think it's the best business move. I know his manager has a lot to do with this, but if he gets Fedor, then this move paid off. I don't know the ins and outs of the contract. I don't know how much he's getting paid, so I can't comment on that. But why you wouldn't sign with Bellator and the stuff they're doing is crazy to me. As much as the media and stuff like that. If you think guys go away when they sign with Bellator, sign with Rizin.
Yeah.
I mean,
Although the last,
unless you fight with Fedor,
yeah,
there's
I would imagine
nothing
that's
for
why
you.
he did it though. Right?
We don't know. Hopefully, I would assume what other
Because
heavyweights
that
do they
would
have?
be a big fight, right? I mean, that's something you would.
That'd be
definitely-
then what?
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know what they.
We don't know that. That's why
don't
if
know.
I could comment way more if I knew the ins and outs of the contract. Because can he fight Fedor? Because remember, Fedor and Bellator were kind of cool. They were going to do like cross promotion stuff like that. So maybe by signing with them, he can jump back to Bellator or something like that. That would be the move. Can he fight Fedor then come to Bellator or something like that? But let's say he knocks out Fedor. Then what do we do?
Yeah.
What other
Well,
heavyweights next?
Well, what they have going on in Rizin right now is they have the open weight tournament that they're setting up right now. And Vanderlei Silva's already in. Crow Cop is already in. If Carwin and Fedor get added to that open weight tournament, maybe that's that's one of the
pretty
opening
badass.
round bouts.
That's pretty badass.
That's fucking badass as it gets.
But hey, so hold on.
Yeah.
Crow Cop and Wanderlei would have to fight Carwin in open weight.
They could. I mean, yeah, it's an
Woo!
open weight tournament, Pride
God
style.
bless him. Enjoy that, Wanderlei.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Wanderlei's simply too small. He's
It
simply
was
too
so
small. for
fun to
Shane
watch. I'm all in. My chips are all in.
I thought
I will watch
Wanderlei-
the piss out
I
of
thought
that.
he was banned for life.
America Commission.
America.
Doesn't matter. Rizin isn't American.
Okay, Rizin would be in Japan.
Yes.
All over, yeah, but
Wow.
Japan.
It's basically the new Pride.
It's a far cry.
Why?
Just because it's
because fighters.
well, they
Just
don't
on
have-
its scale.
They're all old.
all the dudes that came through Pride. Jesus.
That'd be a fun tournament though. I'd watch every round, and
Goddamn right.
we'd probably do a fight companion for it. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you
How
right
would you
now,
physically
Carwin
do
murks
that, though,
all of
Brendan?
them. What do you mean?
How would somebody do that? Like, would the fight happen all in one day?
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I maybe could in Japan.
Pride
but
had multiple fights tonight.
The
I know
amount
it's
of
2016
punishment you
though.
take, though.
I don't think those guys would do it, especially those vets.
Oof.
They just do it over time, tournament over time. That's not unheard of.
Yeah, they had the Strike Force Grand Prix, which
Yeah.
was basically a modernized version of that.
But plus, remember those guys. Those aren't going to be decisions. Those
People
fights.
are going to sleep.
None of those fights will go to decision. Not one of those will go to
And
decision.
it's Shane.
Everybody getting murked in that bitch.
Shane's probably not
Shane,
gonna-
let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. And Shane, just fucking Walking Dead. All of Legends. Everybody getting fucked up.
Kagoo.
Greeley style.
Kagoo.
Greeley style, son. Carwin knocking heads off.
Oof. With those hooks. Kadoosh.
I mean,
Those long arms.
imagine for Wanderlei Silva, you get that draw. He's all, God damn it. I got to fight this 300-pound dude? What the fuck are we doing?
The best part is Vanderlei doesn't give a shit.
Isn't that
He's
great?
like, yeah, sure, absolutely, no problem, let's do it.
He's like the Genghis Khan of fucking MMA guys. Just doing work. Ruthless. Whatever you want. Come and get it.
Just taking some beatings.
Except for Shane's going to give you that 1-2, USA Hellbird right hand from hell. The old 1-2 Blue 52 bomber from Greeley, Colorado. And that thing's going to smell like
his jab
that thing's
and
gonna smell
right.
like cow shit. It's going to hit you hard.
He'll throw those long left and rights too. That's
He
straight to your
He
grill.
will open hand slap your ass with those callous cowboy hands and fuck your world up.
You guys,
He will slap you back to fucking 2004 Pride days.
you guys would suit up. You'd put on your helmets, and you'd go
Helmets?
at it. Your headgear.
Don't
and
ever
you
call them
guys
helmets.
just go at it. So you'd be driving.
Don't ever refer
You'd
to
be
them
in
as
Denver.
helmets.
You'd be driving to the gym, and you'd be like, "Well, today I have to spar."
It was all we
with
had.
Shane.
All I had was Shane.
And how many rounds would you typically go with him?
6 to 8 at least.
6 to 8 rounds. And my feeling and
That's
my
who we
guess
had.
is
That-
that
that's all we
Shane
had was
maybe
each other.
wasn't the best at going light.
No, Shane doesn't have. Look at his fight with Jason
He's
Ellis.
got one gear.
One gear. Hardest hitter ever in UFC history.
And how, when you would basically.
Ask Frank Mir and Gabriel Gonzaga. Shane was like, "Oh, what do you see?" Ah! Shane was like, "Hey, man, let's go." It's you. It's literally he had the touch of death.
God.
Just he's big. His hand, and he gets mad when I talk about it. His hand looks like, you know those burgers you
Why is
get
he
out
getting
of.
mad? He's
you
got
get-
the biggest hands
you
in the
get,
world.
You know one of those burgers you get with those big thick buns and has that thick old patty in the middle?
Yeah.
Think of that, and then just 5 fat dick bratwurst, juicy, sticking out. 5 of them on the side.
Ridiculous.
And that's coming for your face.
God.
Oh, and then he has a head like Bobby Big World. It's like
And
Bobby
by the
Big
way,
World. Go
had a
fuck
full-time
yourself.
job, didn't he?
Engineer, still an
Engineer. Electrical engineer or something like
Brilliant guy.
Really
One of
smart.
the smartest guys I know.
that. Super smart.
Super smart.
And
And has the grip of Bigfoot. Like if he was butt naked walking in the forest and that History Channel was looking
Yeah.
for him, like there he is.
has he got a piece
We
on
caught
him?
him.
I think he's got a piece on him too.
He has a Coca-Cola can again from fucking Greeley, Colorado.
Just a
That
crazy
you be like,
dude.
holy shit! I didn't know.
He's got a crazy.
I
day.
didn't know there was rattlesnakes in Greeley.
God
There
damn.
are now.
Congratulations, Shane.
And I didn't know there was albino rattlesnakes in Greeley.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Why does it smell like horse manure? Well, that's Shane Carwin.
Oh, hold on. I'm not getting your
All of
metaphors.
Greeley.
His dick has
you
no
don't know
pigment.
Greeley. You don't know
His
Greeley.
dick's got no pigment.
No
Oh,
pigment.
Okay, it's all
Greeley's.
horses?
It's cow's blood because there's
Oh,
all
okay.
the. It just smells like shit. Greeley's don't smell like
Oh,
shit.
okay.
Shane's a real cowboy.
He's a real cowboy.
Don't have him in Brokeback Mountain. He'd be ripping everybody's ass.
What was it when you used to hang out? Was it you, Shane, Cowboy?
Nah,
Nate?
Cowboy not so much. Cowboy was earlier days.
Oh, okay.
And we were kind of all on our own. And then Cowboy went to Albuquerque, and we'd see Cowboy there. And then
Gotcha.
Cody and I would live with Cowboy when we trained in Jackson's. But for a while, it was just Shane and I. Shane, myself, Cody Diamond, Elliot Marshall, Christian Allen. That was the crew. Those were my boys. Shout out to all those guys. I love you, man. But I'm moving on up.
What's the name of Cody's jiu-jitsu
Get your fight
school?
juices off of me.
High altitude.
What?
Cody's school in Denver is high altitude. Well, that's where Christian Allen teaches as well.
Yeah. Any other brain busters?
Wish I lived there. I'd train every day.
Yeah, go there, man. What else you got, Ev?
Every day.
I'd watch the shit out of that tournament, though. That sounds glorious. I had no idea that's what they're doing.
Glorious.
Rizin was sick.
Yeah. Hopefully Fedor and Shane get added to that open weight tournament because that would
And
be
would it be in
killer.
Japan for sure?
I can look it up. Excuse me. I'm not sure if it's in Japan, but I pretty safe to assume.
Bro, let's just get Bob Sapp's old ass. Just wake up the old Seattle Dragon, drag him to Japan. Hey, Sleepy Bob Sapp, one more for you. We got this
I
tournament.
have to tell
We
you,
need freaks.
Have you ever met him?
Yeah,
I spent a good hour talking to him.
it's huge. I bet
He's
you
such a smart guy.
chatted
No, we
his
didn't
ear
talk about
off.
fighting at all. We didn't talk
He's
about.
a reader.
We talked about hypnosis. Yeah, about psychology because he reads a lot. He gave
He's
me
way bigger than
he gave me a
Shane.
list of books. To
He's
read.
way bigger than
Oh,
Shane.
he's 375 pounds.
and shredded.
Yeah. His face is the widest, biggest thing I've ever seen. He is
Nicest
the
guy in the
sweetest
world.
man in the world.
Man.
And smart.
Almost too sweet.
fucking
Almost
smart.
a little too much sweetener in his iced
Well,
tea.
I think he just is aware that he's a giant, and he was so interested in having
What's
a real
that,
intellectual
Ev?
conversation.
That's just Rizin's website. I was just gonna see if I could take a look and quickly find if it's definitely gonna be in Japan, but
Either way,
I'm pretty damn certain it's in
we're
Japan.
doing something for that bitch. If Shane fights Fedor, that'd be huge. I hope he gets it, man. I'd be so happy for him. What else you got, Ev?
All right, next one we got. John Jones's attorney says that USADA has independently confirmed that the product that Jones used was contaminated.
Ooh, very interesting. Things get
Contaminated,
even
yeah,
more
with
interesting.
the banned substance that he tested positive for ahead of UFC 200.
I like people that go, no, bro, you're still responsible for what you put in your body regardless. Nah, bitch. sometimes when you take protein powder or something like that, or John had a sponsor where he thought it was good to go because they're a big company, they work with him, and he's passed tests before, then all of a sudden there's some shady supplements in there,
So does this
and
prove
John
that
tests
he
positive.
wasn't doing steroids?
I get this is all from Jones's attorney. This isn't from USADA. So taking Jones's attorney's word here, he said, quote, "We've been able to establish the source of the prohibited substance. It came from a product that John took that was not labeled with either of these substances. We had it tested. The product was contaminated with both of them. I know USADA also independently had the product tested. Their testing confirms what we found."
But
So
see,
he should be
So
good.
he should be.
We going
looking-
Sizzler.
well, hold on. So
His hearing is scheduled for October
not
31st.
to be, I don't know, but I'm just saying that what this is saying is that there was a product John took that had substances that were banned in it. However, we don't know if that also precludes then that he definitely. So in other words, that's what they found.
So they found the banned substance in his system,
the
and
estrogen
they tested the products that Jones was taking. They found that the products that he was taking were not labeled with this banned substance. There is no indication that it had the banned substance in it. Yet they were able to confirm that product did in fact have those banned substances.
Boom.
So he did completely unknowingly
All right.
ingest these
Well,
substances.
let this man back in.
Yeah.
So his arbitration hearing is on October 31st, looking at a maximum 1 year suspension, or could just be let off with a warning.
That
So
boy's warning. What
we'll
the fuck
see.
you gonna warn him for? This is what? He's gonna be fighting by early
Get
next
him
year.
back in.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Yeah, let's get this back. He's probably. I'm sure he's been training the whole time.
Nonstop. Yeah, of course. What else you got, Ev? Good for him.
So yeah, we'll see how that plays itself out.
It's one of the rare times guys are like, "Yeah, I didn't know the supplement." No, legit didn't know the supplement this time, huh? What is this?
This is social media arguably being used in a really going too far kind of way, possibly. DJ Khaled documents his son's birth on Snapchat. And I mean, he documented the fuck out of this thing. I mean, he live Snapchatted the birth of his child, like in the room while his wife is like screaming in pain.
Oh.
And he's picking out like which emoji to use in his
Go ahead
Snapchat.
and see that.
He's also, I think he has the most followers on Vine and Instagram. Is that right, Kay?
Yeah, so we'll scroll through this.
He's still trying to stay all tight.
Khaled is an Arabic name. Ya Habibi.
Oh, also, how about him playing
Ya Habibi.
he's playing his latest single in the background during the actual
I
birth.
love it.
Still
I
promoting.
love America. he is so classically. I love him. This is what I love about America. America may have a lot of anti-Arab, anti-Muslim sentiment, but then you got DJ Khaled, who's one of the most popular motherfuckers. America doesn't care. A mix of everybody. It's true.
This turned into a real shit show.
This is his song, Major
Yeah,
Key.
this is his song. Yeah, with Jay-Z on it. It's been out for a little bit.
Uh,
He's not showing her face though. Let's for sure focus on the kid and drop the phone though.
Yeah. You get the idea.
Yeah, good God.
He's got a baby.
What was it last week? Some kid telling his mom she died from overdose. Now
Oh, the Facebook. He live streamed telling his kid that his mom had died of a heroin overdose.
social media, man.
Jesus Christ.
People are doing
I
everything
can't
on there.
handle it.
What else? You
This
got
too
there?
far?
Like
Like-
that's not too bad. At least it's a joyous moment, and he didn't show his wife's face. It'd be one thing if he was all up in her vagina and titties and face. Like that's another thing.
Yeah.
But this guy kept a little classy, and I expect that of this guy. Like he's such a big deal on social media. Like God, man, he's really reinvented himself with social media. Like he was big before, but now, I mean, think how big he is now. He's the face of what? Ciroc vodka.
Yeah.
Like, he's
So
killing
DJ
it.
I feel like he had a big layoff too.
It's just that he's a DJ, but he mixes.
Comes up
music.
with a ton of hits.
He's like a
He works with everyone. Producer.
Drake and
He
all
raps too.
that. Yeah.
He knows his stuff.
Smart dude. What else you
And
got?
next one. More of technology being used in hilarious ways. The Redskins assistant coach was what? Brennan, you should explain because why does this keep happening? Redskins assistant coach pees in a Gatorade cup on the sideline. Fan takes pics. So basically, he caught full dick from the crowd. But why do coaches or assistant coaches keep taking pisses on the sidelines instead of going into the fucking tunnel? They're going back to their room.
Well, it depends what point of the game. If it's in the middle of the game, you can't leave. You got to coach the players. The other thing is you didn't have to be that bad if you just pissing in that little Gatorade cup. Because I know when I piss, and I piss hard and true, I'm filling up an entire jug.
Me too.
I'm filling up a jug, son. You ever tried peeing in just like a regular water bottle in your car?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Quickly. Need another one? Like, you're going to need a couple of 6-packs.
I filled a tennis ball can and then had more left over.
Yeah. No,
man.
I drop it hard.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
hot.
It's amazing.
Isn't it weird how hot it is?
Amazing
Hot piss.
how much liquid you can
Coming
carry.
in hot. Yeah, it's
Well,
weird.
what is it, 96 degrees? Is that your body temp?
He's a special teams coordinator. That's like you coach for fucking how many plays?
Yeah,
Out of the game?
you can't leave,
Right?
though. You can't leave. I've been playing in games, especially when it's been raining. I'll just go ahead and piss. Just piss down my leg. Just piss hard.
Yeah.
In the middle of the game.
No, I mean I get that. I've pissed myself during hockey, like fucking like ice hockey games,
Yeah.
like a rec league. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I want to win, you know.
Well, that's
I wear
weird.
diapers. Oops.
You wear depends? Yeah, they can't leave. But
They can't leave?
But
Okay.
this is, but for sure, get better at hiding it. Like me and Callan will piss on the beach when we're playing beach volleyball. We'll just take a knee and like we're digging a hole. Remember that be?
Yep.
And we'll piss right in that hole.
Sit on your ass, you dig a hole, and you just piss right in the hole.
You just pull out a real lazy dick
Real
to the
lazy.
side and you just piss right in that hole.
Just
then you
piss.
just cover it up with sand.
While we're talking.
yeah,
just
like
pissing.
two men just talking, sitting Indian
Sand
style.
absorbs it, don't worry.
Little they know, we got our telescopes out the front.
Yep.
Drain them into the ocean.
Pissing
Sand.
hard. Yep.
We
Why
do.
don't you just go in the ocean?
We won't.
We
because
don't want to get
won't.
wet. It's too
Because
far
it's
of
the
a walk.
principle. It's too cold. And also, I
That's
like
a good
peeing
way to
in the
catch an
sand.
infection too.
I like
I don't know
peeing
if
in
you
the
know
sand.
that.
Pissing in the
It
ocean?
also,
Yes.
it also attracts sharks. There, I said it.
That's true. And also, if you're in freshwater, especially in the Amazon, there's those little bugs that go right up your pee hole.
Yep.
They go right up your pee
Yep,
hole.
and they spine out
They-
right in
we
your
call it
urethra.
spurring out. We call
They
it spurring
They
out.
spur out.
You want that to happen, Kay? Piss in fresh water.
That's a motherfucker.
See what happens.
Can't piss either.
Did you see that guy that got that horrible bacteria it's only in fresh water. It's only in fresh water.
It's called necritis.
Minnesota. Died.
Flesh eating.
Oh, it eats your brains, kids. Eat your
yeah.
brains. Stay out of fresh water.
Yeah, stay out of fresh
There's only been
water.
2 deaths, but still.
Rivers,
you get it?
Rivers suck.
Nah, we can't do anything about it.
Rivers ain't fun.
Nah, fuck a river. What else you got, Ev?
Oh, no.
Last one, we got Suge Knight suing Dr. Dre, claiming that Dre hired a hitman to kill him because Suge said he has a lifetime management deal with Dre, which entitles him to a 30% cut of Dre's entertainment earnings. So then the Beats situation came along where Apple bought them for like $1 gazillion.
1 gazillion.
Approximately $1 gazillion. And then, Dre was just like, hey, this guy's taking 30%
Kill
of my
him.
$1 gazillion. Let's put him in the dirt.
Does he have proof of it?
I'm sure he doesn't.
Wait. Suge Knight tried to kill Dre? Or Dre?
According to Suge Knight,
Dre hired
Dre hired a hitman to kill Suge during the 2014 VMAs.
Yes, and I wouldn't believe a thing. Suge Knight isn't Suge Knight in jail now, or is
For murder. And
He's
we
in
have
real-
video of him running a guy
running
over on
somebody
a
else.
truck in a Raptor. But did you see the Lifetime story? Of course you didn't, B. Maybe someone else in here did. The Lifetime story on Dr. Dre
His wife,
didn't.
that girl.
and he was just a wife beater
Yeah.
like a motherfucker.
Dr. Dre was?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God. He
What?
was so mean to her. If this is real. Now Dre's suing that network.
Yeah. And something with the girl. Like
Sue
she
on
said-
Sue on Sue.
saying it's not-
That girl that played her, I mean, pretty girl, her voice drove me nuts. I couldn't make it through the whole thing. I was like, please hit her. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you see the? I think this came out like last week, maybe a week or two ago. The love letter that is purported to have been written by Dre to his then girlfriend during NWA days.
Was it awesome?
It ended with this is literally the last line of this love letter. Wish I was all up in that ass. Love, Dre.
That's romantic shit, man.
It sure is.
I like that. Wish I was in that ass, girl.
Wish
See
I
you
was all
soon.
up in that ass.
Wish I was all up in that ass.
Damn. Well, what about so now Suge Knight from jail is suing Dr. Dre for the money.
I don't think he's in jail right now.
I thought he was. No,
Is
did
it?
he
Oh
get
wait,
bail?
yeah, the whole running a guy over
On
1,000
set
times thing.
of.
He was already in
on
jail
set.
before that for tax evasion and hanging people out the window by their ankles, and he's a bad fucking dude.
It doesn't sound like Dre's a great guy, is he?
I don't know. I don't believe anything that Suge Knight says. And if he
I don't
hired
think
a
he's.
hitman,
I don't
why
think he's
don't
the
you-
only one saying this.
If you
though.
hired the hitman,
I don't
what
know
if
if
the
he's
hitman-
currently incarcerated for that. I don't know if that has hit trial and gotten him a conviction.
His bail must have been $30 jigillion, and he put up for it, huh?
Is he
Posted bail?
currently in jail?
I thought he
I
was
don't know,
in jail.
but so as far as you asking if he had proof,
Yeah.
the suit claims the suit claims the LA County Sheriff's Department questioned a man named T Money about the shooting, and he told investigators he was paid by Dre to kill Suge.
T Money said
Suge
this?
says despite 37 cameras in One Oak, no arrests were made.
T Money said this though.
Yes,
Then it gots to
it
be
appears it would appear from this TMZ
gots to
article
be true.
that
T-Money
Suge Knight's
said
entire
this?
defense is rested on the testimony of a guy named T Money.
Okay, well I like T Money.
There you go.
What T Money says, T Money means.
Yeah.
What
It
else you
sounds
got,
like
Ev?
he wants some money from him.
That's it.
Oh,
That
good
is it
current
for
events,
credits.
sir.
Excellent.
You got a drop in
current
knowledge for the
events.
200th episode?
I do. Do you know? I just came across it, and I just figured I'd. You know that? Do you know how dogs smell? You know how dogs can tell, and they can smell cancer in someone.
Oh,
in
no,
its early stages.
That's new news to me.
Yeah. So they use dogs.
Are you sure about this, B?
Uh-huh.
Dogs can smell cancer?
Well, not only can they smell cancer, but dogs a lot of times can tell if somebody's going to have a seizure or not. Now, they don't know.
Trained
really,
dogs, though, yeah or no?
Well, they don't know how dogs can tell if you're going to have a seizure. They don't know how to really actually train for that. They just think that something happens neurochemically and the dog is picking up on different rhythms. Some dogs, when you're about to have a seizure, will actually start tugging you to the ground. They'll try to bring you to the ground, so you go to the ground and you don't get all hurt. But cancer is really interesting. So what they think is that, first of all, an oncologist will tell you that people who have late stage cancer, you can smell it on their breath. And in fact, even when you have late stage cancer, you can smell it on your own breath. Okay. And they think that dogs, let me give you an example of how amazing a dog's nose is.
Ooh, I love a nose.
You can put 1 drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and a dog can smell it.
You talking about a greyhound?
I'm
What kind of dog?
I'm talking about.
You talking about
almost any
basset
dog.
hound?
I'm talking about dogs.
A
I'm
chihuahua?
talking about generally dogs.
A little chihuahua
Yeah.
again?
Now, a
Pugs?
German Shorthair, which is considered to have the best nose.
What is a German
can
Shepherd?
do a German Shorthair pointer, considered to have the best nose.
I thought it was bloodhounds.
German Shorthair apparently has better. And there's another dog whose name escapes me that has an even better nose that can literally sense some crazy shit.
Ev,
One in
Google best smelling dogs.
1 part in per trillion. There's a dog. The Russians use it. It was I can't remember the name, but the German Shorthair can do things like now I've heard this from different websites where they can smell 1 drop of blood in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Now, but I do know.
What we got here?
Your German short-haired pointer is listed at number 9.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and of course I get served some bullshit ad
It
now.
depends
God
on what
damn
you're
it.
looking at.
Out of my face.
Well, we're
ad.
looking for the best
There we go.
smellers, B.
Yeah, this is
What's number 1? Ev?
top 10 dogs with the best sense of smell.
Yeah.
Pointer 10, short hair. We'll start with the top 5.
Where's that old
All right.
bloodhound?
Labrador Retriever at 5, German Shepherd at 4, Beagle at 3, Basset Hound at 2, Bloodhound at number 1.
Yeah,
It's
son.
not true. It's just.
Well,
This is
where'd
true.
you get your info from?
Are we going
Well,
with Bryan Callen or DogTime.com?
I've read just too many sort of
books.
these. I really have. I've read just way too many of these on German Shorthairs.
What
You
is that,
gotta
B?
look at-
That's top 10 what? What's the website?
And that's also inaccurate too, because there's another dog they did a whole special on in Russia that's supposed to have the craziest smell. So I don't know about that website. And
Best
I
scent
don't believe a
tracking
German
dogs.
Shepherd has a better sense of smell than a German Shorthair. I just there's just too much.
In your research.
Okay, so we're gonna go to
According to
another
my
site.
Callen research. That is
Well,
true.
but the thing, you're not wrong. I'm sure your dog has beast
Yeah, but either
smell.
way, so they.
But
think
I
that
knew that
dogs-
bloodhound was up
They
there.
think
They've
that
always been
dogs-
known for
no,
that.
they're out there. They are up
Oh,
there.
hey, numero uno.
And numero.
A bloodhound? I mean, when you think of sense of smell,
when they walk
they're
in,
the face
they
of it.
smell a room.
I've always said we should have one as a
And
mascot.
here's the thing. Here's the reason.
And
they
name
think,
them Carl.
Here's the fucked up and crazy thing they think they can smell disease, is because the reason they can probably smell disease, but you also have to train them to be able to smell specifically for that disease because they can smell other diseases.
Yeah.
So you train them to smell specifically for cancer. But here's the thing. One of the reasons they think they can smell cancer in stage 0, like where it's just beginning, or at stage 1, is if you can smell it on stage 4, they can obviously smell it, when it's like fucking tiny. But they need to be able to smell, they think, when an animal's sick, and they zero in on that animal. There's a theory that predators will go after the sick bird. They'll go after the sick
Dogs
animal.
or
Predators in general. Dogs are predators. Dogs are descendants of
Wild
the wolves.
dogs, yeah.
So they got to be able to see who's the weak dude in who's the fucking sickie. Who's got the flu today?
What's that
Oh, you got
say,
the
Ev?
flu? I'm coming after you.
This website also has Bloodhound and Beagle at numbers 1 and 2.
Okay, man. Well, count
Short hair
research-
pointers at number 5 on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
See, it
moving
all
up.
depends on what you look at.
Yeah, but just best smell. It's all good though, man.
Let me see that website.
The
Oh,
Bloodhound
that's
has
the TMZ
more.
website.
The Bloodhound has more scent receptors than any other breed of dog. They have the unique ability to be able to track scents
I
in
believe
both
it.
the air, on
Maybe.
from the ground, giving them a distinct advantage
Maybe.
over other breeds.
Yeah.
Let me ask
It
you
just
something, bro.
depends.
Where'd you get your research from, though?
Well,
Because you always say I did my research.
no, over the
but
years.
bloodhounds are known. They have the most
Oh
sensors.
no, they have amazing noses. There's no
No.
question.
Number
But
one.
I know. I'm just saying that from if you look at the people that use dogs for tracking, they use bloodhounds for sure.
Sherlock Holmes.
But I've just read like a lot of accounts, like just on same thing websites and on dog stuff,
Some
where
Eddie
they
Bravo
always
shit
seem to
right
give
now.
German Shorthairs number 1 in news stories. I've heard news stories about it.
But I think
So I don't know.
scientifically speaking, the bloodhound has the
Yeah.
best sense of smell.
Yeah, I believe that. I thought it was the German Shorthair. I've read that it was the German Shorthair. But hold on, there's another dog.
This is fun to do during drop knowledge. Like you drop it, B, and then we research
Exactly,
it.
and then we research.
Because you're
It's debunking knowledge.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes. But there's this dog. Wait, go back, because there's that dog from Russia that is supposed to have the craziest sense of smell. I guess it's not there. They had a whole special on this dog.
It's Russian.
Yeah, they use this dog for smelling bombs, and the dog is insane. And it looks like a little.
Don't German shepherds do that though? Like the canine
Yeah,
dogs?
They
use-
can, yeah.
Yeah, they use canine dogs. But that again, canine dogs are used also for man stopping and a whole host of things. That's why Belgian Malinois and Shepherds are the most versatile dogs.
Oh, here we go.
You found that Russian?
I think so.
Yeah, this thing is sick. This is the turbo. This is a designer dog right here. Like there's a bloodhound, but then it's like I have a really fast car. But then you go, dude. Then there's the GTS. There's the.
Nothing beats a
Oh,
bloodhound.
this is they hadn't even established a name for the dog at the time that this article was written, which was it's 2002. But it said Russia breeds super dog. Russia breeds a super dog with a jackal's nose for bombs and drugs.
Jackals.
Part Siberian husky, part Turkmen jackal.
Yep.
Sick.
There you go.
Do they have a name for
Part
it now?
Turkmen jackal. They got a jackal involved.
I want one of those.
Dude, they got a fucking jackal. They're small and they're badasses. They got some jackal involved. So the point is,
dogs
the
can
Turkmen
smell.
jackal. It goes the Turkmen jackal.
Yeah. The Sulamov dog.
Yeah, the fucking Sulamov dog.
Bro, whenever you do drop knowledge, I get super skeptical hippos.
As always, you always
I
should.
got to.
God,
'Cause I know, let's be real,
in general.
you didn't do research. You
did.
read a column, and then you're like, in my research.
No, but I've always been into dogs in a stupid way. And so that's why I knew about this Russian
I've been
dog.
in dogs, too.
Oh, these things are cute too. Look at this guy.
Dude, this is the
They look
dog.
like little foxes.
There you go,
Yeah.
the Sulamov breed. Now, these dogs piss. Their noses piss.
That's a good nose.
On the fucking
Bloodhound?
yeah, they piss on it.
I didn't see him on the list, brother.
That's what I mean, dude. You got to talk to me.
They don't make a list.
I dig deep. And I get you the Sulamov breed. which
In
you
my
didn't hear
research, the Bloodhound's numero uno.
about. It is if you're into American dogs. I'm talking about the Russians. They got those designer dogs. They bred it with the Turkmen jackal, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty
Any
sick.
more questions? You know, they put a piece of cheese on the moon, and the Turkmen jackal
Went to the
fucking
moon?
smelled it.
All right.
It was up on its hind legs, and its nose
Trying
was
to
pointing
get to
toward
him?
the moon, and that's a fact.
All right. Well, that's it. Yeah. So drop 'em knowledge. These dogs can smell.
They can smell.
They can smell. Bloodhound's number 1, though. We're going to have to
Yeah.
fact check it from now on, Brian. Oh, yeah. You guys want to know the stuff we're going to do moving forward? We're going to fact check Brian Callen. Drop
Always
knowledge
should
now.
fact check any.
We just
dropping
have to.
knowledge.
So instead of you guys sending us those vicious emails, let's just nip it in the butt right now.
It's a good idea, actually.
Let's go to fan questions. What do you got, Ev, man?
All right. First fan question. Did Brendan ever think of quitting the podcast in the early days when he mainly identified as a fighter?
Never quit, but I didn't take it as serious. I mean, obviously, when you're trying to fight, it's you got to be all in. But as it kept going, I think the real eye opener for me is when I was in the airport getting ready to fight. Forget which fight. And some guy's like, Big Brown, right? Because Brian only called me Big Brown on the podcast. He's all, Big Brown, man, I love the podcast. And I go, thanks, man. Excited for the fight this weekend. He's like, what are you talking about? And he just had no idea. Never thought about quitting, no. I didn't take it as serious, like now.
When we had Conor McGregor on the podcast, I remember you looked at me and you went, all we got to do is keep this going. Just keep it going. I
Yep.
go, yeah. And you go, just keep it going.
Yep.
That's it.
What else you got, Ev?
What's the moment you've laughed at the hardest during the 200 episodes? That is a goddamn difficult question.
Yeah. It's a good question, though.
Let's start with Evan. Do you remember anything?
The recent monkey story of Bryan
story
had
was
me
good.
dying. Like, I watched it when I got home the other day. It was so funny.
That's hilarious. Brian,
So
went.
many.
Did you do it on the podcast? I think so. You told that story on the podcast when you went audition for that
Oh, yeah.
Crest commercial ad.
That's a
you
great
were-
one.
That might be the hardest I've ever
You were
laughed.
dying.
That was really
Can't believe you went and did that. You
I
got
made
some
you.
nerve.
I made you laugh harder off the podcast.
Oh,
for
for
sure.
sure.
You know, it's kind of ironic because we get this question that our 200th happens now. I think maybe the hardest I ever laughed was the French robot story.
Yeah.
That's a funny one.
I don't know why. Something about that just fucking killed me. And you and your college roommates dressed up as big babies in diapers.
And that
Just
girl
it
came
was
in?
so sort of visual story that is it just killed me.
Funny.
And anytime Sasso's on here, that gets me.
Sasso killed me.
The time when you were telling the story about the guy punching his up on his eye.
Oh, my college roommate punching himself in the face. There's been some funny ones, man. Well, that was on Rogan here. The time Callen got molested.
Isn't that funny how that's
Yeah.
funny?
Oh my God,
And
I
those
forgot
stories
about
just
that.
came to me, and I was like, ah.
Like, well, I guess I'm gonna tell this.
We were like 100
God.
episodes deep. I was like, you didn't know he got molested in the woods. He's like,
You wanna
oh,
rub it-
yeah.
You want to rub it out on my ass? You want to dry out my ass or no? I was like, no, I'm
no.
all right. No, all right.
forgot about
I'm all right. So I was
Yeah, that was hilarious.
You want to rub yourself on my butt? Can't remember what he said.
There's so many.
Oh,
I mean,
Caribbean Tiger. When Brian first did the Caribbean Tiger songs, like basically all off the top of your head.
Yeah, boy.
So good.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
That was hilarious. The thing is, we have to go back to them. And if fans, if you have your favorite ones, please send them to us because now we're making Fighting the Kid animations. They're gonna drop in November, but they need it. We're gonna do one a month because they're a beast to do. Shout out to Paul. We already have I think 2 or 3 in the bunker. But if you guys think of your favorite stories from the podcast, email the Fighting the Kid website for your favorite ones. And obviously, if they're classics, we'll turn them into the animations.
And if when you send those emails, you could possibly include the episode number that it came with, it would be much, much easier for us.
That would be nice.
It would be fantastic addition.
That would be one.
What else you got, Ev?
All right, next one we got. I know you hate baseball, but will you be watching the World Series? And if you are, who will you be cheering for?
You don't hate baseball,
I'm
Callen.
definitely cheering for the Cubs
Fuck yeah, the Cubs.
because the
Cubs and Indians, yeah?
It's been 108 years or something. And Jeremy
Curse
Piven's
of
a
Babe
huge
Ruth?
fan. I could tell that he really wanted him to win. And I was like, all right, I'll root for him.
I'm rooting for the Cubs, and people are like, oh, that's a cop-out. Ask Shark Eyes Doll Smile. When I was a kid, we didn't have the Colorado Rockies. They didn't come to 93, so I was 10. Before that, my favorite team, because of Ryan Sandberg and Mark Grace and Dawson, were the Cubs. I wore a Cubs hat everywhere I went, just like Sandlot, and I drew on my hat little Cub paws, so it looked like a little Cub walked on my hat
Really?
in white. I was always a Cubs fan.
Little Cub paws.
Might even buy me a Cubs jersey. I got a Tebow one I haven't rocked yet. A Mets Tebow jersey. Maybe I'll buy a Cubs jersey and rock that, but I am rooting hard for the Cubs.
Hard.
They've always been my team.
Nice.
Never been a Rockies fan. I know. I'm from Colorado.
It's all right.
You like the Yankees or no?
Yes, I've been to many Yankee games. I used to go to Yankee games in the summer. My dad would bring me. Yeah, so I was
Yankees.
I was a
Yankees in their heyday.
Yeah, I
Fun
was
to
a
watch.
Yankees fan back when Bucky Dent played.
Oh wow.
When Willie Randolph
Oh
played.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'll even.
What was Babe Ruth like in person?
You motherfucker!
How about Mickey Mantle? Was he just a legend or what?
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. What else you got, Ev?
All right, Big Brown, how come you didn't do the fight companion last Friday?
I was working, bitch.
Brandon's been working.
Yeah.
Brandon's been
What else you
He's
got?
been on set.
Yeah, I was on set. I couldn't do it even if I wanted to. What else you got?
At your 200th episode, looking back, what were you guys doing wrong when you first started the podcast?
Probably same stuff we're doing now.
Talking over each other, not listening.
Yeah, that and I mean we interrupt. We'll talk over each other. We're excited, but it's also the dynamic between us too, right?
Yeah, it's like anything else.
I mean, we're getting better at it. Same time too with a guest, something like that. Just depends. And some like a lot of times, you know, if there's a guest, we haven't had one in a while do this, but sometimes there's a guest, they just can't keep up, man. So people are like, God, let the guest talk. Trust me, this is our 200th episode, and we've done more before that, to be honest. We've done how many hours on Fight Companion, you've done how many interviews and blah, blah, blah. So we know what we're doing. But if there's a guest, and for whatever reason, there might be two of them, might be one of them, and they can't hang or carry the conversation, Bryan and I, it's our responsibility on the show to make the show entertaining. So we have to basically take this bitch over. We're the captain of this ship. So there's a reason for it if we're talking a shitload when there's a guest. It's not because we're interrupting or we're not interested in what he's saying. A lot of times, sometimes the guest can't bring it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
From far as what have we learned, though?
I guess it's always difficult to find. Sometimes with a guest, you can't find what they are good at talking about, too. It just takes a little time. And so, you know, there's a lot of things that go into
Sometimes
it.
we'll have a guest that comes on here and
Sometimes they're low energy. Sometimes
low energy. Sometimes they just don't get the vibe, you know?
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're used to doing these radio shows where they have 15 minutes and it's KS 1075. What are you here to promote? And we're just here to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So they'll do bits, and it does not work. If it was up to me, I'd tell them get the fuck out right away. But sometimes they're Brian's friend or something like that, so you got to put up with it. It makes for the worst shows. What else you got, Ev?
All right, we got two more. Do you guys ever think of when it'll end or just moving on from this podcast to tackle new career/business ventures?
Look, I mean, this is there are two things that go on. One, it just keeps growing, and it means a lot to people. You know, I remember I perform for our audience all the time, and my audience is always more and more Fighter and the Kid fans. So what's very moving for me is these people that come up to me and go, dude, you mean a lot to me. You know, your podcast, the way you're honest about things, the things you talk about, I use in my life. That's a huge responsibility, but also, like, we really like doing it. It's the one constant, and for the first time in my life, and I think the first time in Brendan's life, it's the first constant. It's the first thing we can rely on. Man, I've been out there at the whim of other people's decisions for 21 years. And to have a steady job, which is what I call this, that's fun.
Yeah.
And getting paid to do what I would do anyway is so I'm giving us at least 10 years.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see it slowing down. Like Bryan said, this is always the mothership. I think, the show I'm shooting, someone went, man, hopefully it doesn't cancel, or hopefully they order 20 episodes. I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool, man. And he's like, sometimes you just really need to happen. I'm super fortunate, man. I own my show now, and I could do it till I'm blue in the face, and, I get paid for it. And so if it works out, great. If not, I'm good, man. He goes, God damn, you're fortunate. I know. It's that's the podcast world, man.
Yep.
So this is always the home base. Anytime I do anything new, I always make sure they know Mondays, Wednesdays at this time, I can't work for you. I got to do my own shit. Because again, any role, any gig Bryan or I get, we don't own it, man. Let's say Bryan and I get a gig on name a channel, AMC. Yeah. Let's say Bryan and I get a gig on AMC. We don't own it.
Right.
You're a subcontractor. You work for them. They can cut it anytime. They can pay you whatever they want to pay. They can do that anytime. You might be 100 episodes deep in that, and one day they just go, we're good, man. With this, let's say, and our contract's up sometime next year. We have like 6 months, I think. And Fox goes, man, listen, you guys you're too much. Your ratings grow every month. Shout out to Fine Kid Army. We've never had a month not grow, which is insane. It just keeps getting bigger. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So if Fox goes, man, you guys just, for whatever reason, you guys are too much. It literally does not affect this. It does nothing. Yeah. It literally does nothing to the show. Name another
Independence.
show. How crazy is that? And people, you should go independent. No, Fox has been great to us. They don't get in our way. They let us do our thing. They provide Evan. They provide the studio. I love Fox for that. Same time, though, if this is a different show and Fox created this show and they own Bryan and Brendan, they go, we're going to have to shut you down. There's not much we can do. Right. If they go, hey, we got to shut you down. And we go do this at our own studio. The Fine Kid Army isn't loyal to Fox. Right. Never get that twisted. Never, ever get that twisted. They're loyal to Bryan and Brendan, the show, and the concept of the show and what the show stands for. Yeah. So that's why we're in a different lane.
I feel lucky.
Last question, Ev.
All right, so the answer to this would obviously be stand-up and acting for Bryan. But Brendan, what would you be doing if the podcast hadn't worked out?
Well, I'd probably be head trainer at the UFC gym in Torrance right now. And come on, everybody, get your gear on. 7 a.m. class, combos, and just
excuse me, you don't seem very hungover. Are you drunk, sir? Yeah, because I'm paying money for this class.
Come on. And then me tweeting angry tweets at Dana. How dare you? No, I don't know, man. I'd still be fighting. Physically, I'm in the best shape of my life. Knowledge, the knowledge I have for the game, it's never been higher. I just have no desire to fight. But if I had no other options, I'd still be fighting 100%. Be fighting, who knows? I'd be in the UFC, but I'd still be fighting.
I said to you, I go, after you had lost, I go, look, man, you got another 6 years. And you looked at me and you went, 6 years? Like, you fucking couldn't believe. Like, it was almost like I had taken a piece of shit and put it under your nose. Now you'd be like, like that. I swear to God, that was your reaction. You went, and your face was still stitched up. And you went, 6 years. Like, you looked at me like, what? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. We're not making money on this podcast. What do you want from me?
I know.
We're making $0 on this podcast. What do you want from me? Fuck.
Boom. That's it. Before we sign
off. Great podcast, everybody. 200th episode.
200. We can't thank you guys enough. This show does not work without the fans and you telling your friends to tell your friends to tell their girlfriends to hit us up. So it literally, you guys have given me a life I couldn't imagine. And so have you, Bryan, everyone in here. I love you guys for that.
We love you.
And bigger and better, man. This train doesn't stop. You know us. We're never satisfied. So let's keep this bitch going. And you can see us in Brea. That bitch might be sold out. I know we're damn near. We're super close. It's either sold out. There's very few tickets left. Brea, go to tfatk.com. You might be able to grab a few tickets. I would assume it's sold out. I don't know. Next week, we're in New York. Gramercy Theater, one show only. New York Comedy Festival. The Fire Kids Live. Whole new show. It's going to be dope.
Yep.
The first time ever we're involved in this comedy festival, so that's going to be fun as hell. Yep. So we're in New York. Get tickets right now. That one is also almost sold out. And then the first week of November, please don't sneeze.
Sorry.
First week of November, we're in Atlanta, the ATL. Bring your peaches and bring them bubble butts. And then we're in Palm Beach on the 11th and 12th, Palm Beach, Florida. Let's get some Sunny D out and get out your fucking Vinny Testaverde jerseys and get your dicks out.
Yeah.
tfatk.com for all your tickets. And then I'm at, where am I at, Bryan?
You're at your butt. Oh, you're at the
Laugh Factory.
You're at the
November
Laugh Factory.
17th.
I thought you were doing a bit.
No. November 17th
November
on the Laugh Factory. And that's
maybe
going
I'll
to be a
come
grand
do
old
a
time.
set there too. Who knows?
That'd be fun. You're definitely going to be there to take pictures and keep the line intact.
Oh,
Make sure that, as we say in English, make sure the queue doesn't get out of line.
Oh, I will.
All right.
Oh, I will.
Again, we love you guys. Here's to 200, you filthy animals. This is the Fire Kid. We're out.